This is the Bible of the electrogenic cell. It's not just the best book ever written on the subject, it's the only book ever written on this subject. Brought to you by supporters of Christ.
I love you, Dr. Enki.
Enki turning pages gave sight to the blind, healing the sick, remedies that realign. Health is wealth, bitters, moss in the grind. Herbs from the earth, ancient roots intertwined. I wrote more books than your dog ever read. Sent kids to college off the words that I said. Wisdom flowing, no damn, let it spread. Sacrifice the parties that she's never met. Get money, get money. Today is a holy get money, get rich, get rich. Blessings in every way. Get money, get money, get rich. Today is a holy get. Sacrifice desires, didn't play with a flame. Wrote 200 books, made my children authors by name. Rejected quick thrills, stay true to the aim. Built a legacy strong, no one plays with a frame. Herbs in a pot, let it simmer and steep. Health in the body and the mind runs deep. Bitters cleanse the soul, no secrets to keep. While the world chases fast, I move slow. Get money, get money, get money. Today is a holy game. Get money, get rich, get rich. Blessings in every way. Get money, get rich, get rich. Today is a holy day. Happy is the heart. Happy, 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 happy when I'm winning. When I eat good, sleep good, speak good. But sometimes I struggle and need help. My mental get weak.
Yo, I'm sharp as a blade, but my edge need a stroke. When life heavy as a boulder, I need balance to rock. Caught in the shuffle, my breath thin as a reed. Ancestors whisper, but the static impede. Dark nights where my mind's like a broken street light. Searching for mine, trying to level my plight.
Happy is the
happy when I'm winning.
when I eat good, sleep good, speak good. But sometimes I struggle and need help. My mental get weak.
Herbs in the mortar, pestle grind like a DJ. Mixing remedies to make my soul replay. My lady a lotus, blooming through mud. She balanced my seesaw when it dips in the flood. Good people, my roots, they hold me in storms. When the winds of my worries try to reform my norm. Need herbs, my lady, my circle of kin. Hold me down when the chaos begins.
Happy is the heart.
Happy, 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 happy when I'm winning.
When I eat good, sleep good, speak good. But sometimes I struggle and need help. My mental get weak.
I love you, Dr. Enki.
I work for God and the natural rules. It's my office, this my proof. Long Enki, reverse cancer, diabetes, high pressure, whole world out the noose. Short, we save lives writing books and doing YouTube lectures. Whole crib turned to a school. Long, I wrote more books than your doctor ever read. Bookshelf heavier than the moon. Short, send kids to college off the words that I said. Pay tuition with the truth. Long, Sacrifice parties, sexual offers. Wrote 200 books and made my children authors. That's the move. Sure. Started on that C3 floor, low rumble in my chest, cold tiles, no budget. Long. Who study side effects when they sidestep the subject? Sure. Hospitals, when I hear the vents, speaking tongues, late night spirits in the duck word. Long. They sell cures in installments, lots of paragraphs that make blood cells do full work. Sure. Whole war reading page 10, IV drips, clap pants, my lines hit the root. Long. I see mama's tray sleep for a half-long prayer chair, bed, vending machine supper. Long. Doctors rush rounds, glance charts, barely glance the mother. Sure. I drive verses in the lobby, quiet storm in the pamphlets, ain't baptized the clutter. Long. Front desk whisper, who printed these soul samples, hum from the gutter. Sure. Every margin turn altar, every comma turn scalpel. Yeah, the font cut sharper than the stutter. Long. They ask who cleared you to talk like this. Long. I say the scars on a letter. Long. Every symptom that I flip to a scripture, put a halo on a stretcher. I work for God and the natural. This my shift, this my route. Inky reverse cancer, diabetes, high blood pressure, whole clan reroll. Hey. Yeah.
Branded say, with a standing wave. Scan the maze, y'all scam engaged from a landed page. Plan a maze, hands raised, they demand a praise. The man in the arena, live stream the man on stage. Pause, no Blavatsky, the haters might have shot me. The devil almost got me. Ooh, that's why I'm cocky. I'm cocky, I'm cocky, I'm cocky. That's why I'm cocky. I'm cocky, I'm cocky, I'm cocky. Protect Inky, God's demand. They spread the books over the planet, goddamn it. Stones thrown, but the domes granted. Pyramid schemes collapse, they can't stand it. Brass choir where the strings hum. Angels in the wings, but the kingdom. Dreams spun from a deep lung. I breathe one bar, make the weak run. I'm cocky, I'm cocky, I'm cocky. That's why I'm cocky. I'm cocky, I'm cocky, I'm cocky.
Any suggestions on where we should start in the new book? So obviously you have to have the new book in order to make a suggestion. But to the people that actually have the new book from Barnes and Nobles, is there any particular section we should start in first? What do you think? Come on, I need to start off my day. Come on, get this teapot. Any suggestions on where we should start the... Okay. All right, that's a vibe. Pause, no primate. Pause, no primate. All right. Let me get my life together. We about to go live in a second. I mean, we already live, but you know, I'm about to plug in my camera and all that. I'm about to plug in my camera and all that. Trying to let them give me some hot water so I could get me some blue magic. The best part of waking up. That's what I got to get on, real. I got to get on that. The best part of waking up.
Or you're going to pay $65.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake, wake, wake up out of your sleep, wake up out of your sleep, wake up, I command you in the name of Jesus, wake up out of your sleep, wake up out of your sleep. The Lord told me to tell you, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, stop crying and wake up, stop worrying and wake up, stop fretting and wake up. God's getting ready to get ready, to get ready.
Best part of waking up, blue magic in your cup, blend it up, American healer, fill it up, fill it up, fill it up. The best part of waking up, blue magic in your cup. Moss gel, same as hydration, unspoken conjures, crispers from the ocean. Stay golden, gold moss, purple moss, red moss, blue. Clean lungs like the morning dew. Thyroid tune, iodine in the veins, boosting brain waves, no need to explain. Intelligence sharp, immune on the rise, antioxidants dancing, phosphorus fly. Bone health steady, metabolism light. Every sip, every blend keeps the system tight. The best part of waking up, blue magic in your cup, blend it up, American healer, fill it up, fill it up, fill it up. The best part of waking up, blue magic in your cup. Roots so deep they whisper to the stars, oceans remedy bottled in jars. Natural balance, the healer's touch, gold in the bloodstream, never too much. I dine for the genius, mind so nimble. Moss in the mix, it's more than a symbol. Every cell alive, rhythm in the blood. Sing Moss gospel, revival in the flood. From the sea to the soul it aligns, healing in the tides, energy and lines. Red moss hums, purple sings a tune, blue magic rising under crescent moon. Best part of waking up, blue magic in your cup, blend it up, American healer, fill it up, fill it up. The best part of waking up, Blue magic in your cup. Moscow, Alzheimer's, hydration, unspoken. Chondrous, crispers from the ocean, stay golden. Gold Mars, purple Mars, red Mars, blue. Clean lungs like the morning dew. Thyroid tune, thyroidine in the veins. Boosting brain waves, no need to explain. Intelligent, sharp, immune on the rise. Antioxidants dancing, phosphorus flies. Bone health, steady metabolism light. Every sip, every blend keeps the system tight. The best part of waking up, blue magic in your cup. Blend it up, American healer, fill it up, fill it up. The best part of waking up, blue magic in your cup. Roots so deep, they whisper to the stars. Oceans, remedy bottled in jars. Natural balance, the healer's touch. Gold in the bloodstream, never too much. Iodine for the genius, mind so nimble. Lost in the mix, it's more than a symbol. Every cell alive, rhythm in the blood. Seamus gospel, revival in the flood. From the sea to the soul, it aligns. Healing in the tides, energy in lines. Red moss hums, purple sings a tune. Blue magic rising under crescent moon. Best part of waking up, blue magic in your cup. Blend it up, American healer. Fill it up, fill it up, fill it up. The best part of waking up, blue magic in your cup. Moss gel, same was hydration, unspoken, chondrous, crispers from the ocean, stay golden. Gold moss, purple moss, red moss, blue. Clean lungs like the morning dew. Thyroid tune, iodine in the veins. Boosting brain waves, no need to explain. Intelligent, sharp, immune on the rise. Antioxidants dancing, phosphorus fly. Bone health, steady metabolism light. Every sip, every blend keeps the system tight. The best part of waking up, blue magic in your cup. Blend it up, American healer. Fill it up, fill it up, fill it up. The best part of waking up, blue magic in your cup. So deep, they whisper to the stars. Oceans, remedy bottled in jars. Natural balance, the healer's touch. Gold in the bloodstream, never too much. I dine for the genius, mind so nimble. Moss in the mix, it's more than a symbol. Every cell alive, rhythm in the blood. Sing Mars gospel, revival in the flood. From the sea to the soul, it aligns. Healing in the tides, energy in lines. Red moss hums, purple sings a tune. Blue magic rising under crescent moon.
from a landed page. Plan a maze, hands raised, they demand a praise. The man in the arena, live stream the man on stage. Pause, noble applies. The haters might have shot me. The devil almost got me. Ooh, that's why I'm cocky. I'm cocky, I'm cocky, I'm cocky. Oh, that's why I'm cocky. I'm cocky, I'm cocky, I'm cocky. Oh. Protect Inky, God's demand. They spread the books over the planet, goddamn it. Stones thrown, but the domes granted. Pyramid schemes collapse, they can't stand it. Brass squad with the strings hung. Angels in the wings, but the kingdom. Dreams spun from a deep lung. I breathe one bar, make the weak run. I'm cocky, I'm cocky, I'm cocky. That's why I'm cocky. I'm cocky, I'm cocky, I'm cocky.
Electron, proton, unity so cute to me. The wave is their community. God's living in you and me. God's living in you and me. The gods exist. The gods are actual. Unless you're dumb, deaf, and blind. Brain on sabbatical. From electric boogie to electric body. Double slit hobby. Photon golly. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. Get it? Get it? Body is body. Electron, proton, unity so cute to me. The wave is a community. God's living in you and me.
Happy Turkey Day. Is my mic on? My mic sound nice. Check one. My mic sound nice. It's like my Superman cape. My glasses. Hey, yo, my mic sounds nice. Yeah, we had to throw the book at Tanai the other day. Right? Tanai is so funny. He said, if you wanted promo for your book, you just had to ask for it. And that was not a promo. It had nothing to do with the book. It just so happens to be that this book, like I've been walking around with it. So it was just the first one right there available. Right? It was the first one available. But everybody knew once I got Tanai in our courtroom. Right? I hope y'all feel good today. I hope everybody feels good. I hope everybody feels good. It's almost 11 o'clock. You should have hugged at least one person today and been kissed by one person today already. If you have not been hugging and kissing people already today, then you are not okay. Your bank account is empty. Your bank account is empty. If you have not been hugging and kissing people already today, then your bank account is empty. I live alone. where you live at. Because I'm from New York. That ain't stopping you from hugging and kissing nobody because you live alone. Yeah. I'm from New York. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I done lived in Detroit, Philly. I done spent a lot of time in Chicago, LA. For whatever reason, I have been in the worst neighborhoods in America. The most dangerous places in America I have been. And what I'm saying is, any day, because people are particularly appreciative of their lives, but definitely on holidays, you can go downstairs and hug somebody in your building. Yeah, you can go get you a hug from somebody in the building. You could get you an extended dap up, you know what I'm saying? Like with a nice little shoulder bump. You could get you an extended dap up with a shoulder bump outside in the neighborhood on Thanksgiving morning, right? And I done lived in Jersey. So there's no excuse. I done lived in Jersey. I used to live in the towers over there. Man, this is in Newark. I used to live in the towers in Newark. It's always people out in Jersey. Yeah. You got to get the extended dap. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes it's just a distance dap. You know what I'm saying? You got distance daps where you don't really want to touch nobody. You know what I'm saying? You just. But then some days you don't mind if they smell like secondhand smoke, or they might have spilled a little alcohol on there. You know, they got a little ketchup on there. It's all for the love. Yeah, it's all for the love. Well, we're gonna send you some digital hugs. We're gonna send you some digital hugs. Do they have hug emojis? Let me see if I can find a hug emoji. We sending hug emojis to people today. Let me see. Do they have hug emojis? They do have hug emojis. Wait a minute. Is that a hug or is they kissing? What is that? Okay. Well, we sending hug emojis. No, they hugging. Okay. Yeah. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. We sending hugs and all that out. Yeah. We sending hugs and all that out. Yeah, that's what we gotta do. That's what we gotta do. We gotta send hugs and all that. Yeah. People thinking about turkey and mac and cheese. You gotta get you a hug. Yeah, you gotta listen. You gotta feel somebody's heartbeat onto your heartbeat. That's homework for the day. Homework for the day. Homework for the day. Let me write this up here. Let me see. Write this up here. Who is that on my pad? Oh, that's my son. I'm about to say, don't come up to my patio. Heart to heart or heart to ear. Yes, we're giving thanks for everything, starting with fresh air and clean water. That is today's homework. Today's homework. Listen, today's homework is to go heart to heart with somebody. And not quick either. Not quick either. You gotta go heart to heart long enough that you can feel their heartbeat on your heartbeat. I want your heart to feel their heart. Right? So that's homework. Extra credit is to put your ear to somebody's chest and listen to their heartbeat. It don't matter who that person is. That could be your daughter, your mama, the male You know what? Let me take that back. In 2025, personal space, it could be crazy. It could be crazy. Yeah, it could be crazy. Figure it out. Yeah. Cousin, auntie, granny, right? It could be granny. I don't know what you got going. Yo, they abandoned me. Bro, my children done abandoned me. What is happening right now? Hold on, bro. Let me appreciate the fact that, let me show some thanks and appreciation to the fact that we done started off the, you know what I'm saying? We done started off the right way with a super chat. Right? We done got some love. And that's more than I can say for my children. What happened to my hot water? Hello? This is wow. They're not even paying me no attention. They are in maximum violation mode today. Maximum violation mode today. Where is my hot water? Yeah. What happened to my hot water? Be careful. All right, so I did ask folks earlier, where should we start in the book? Right? Today we're gonna be live for quite some time. I don't know how long, but we will be live for quite some time. Right? Maybe 3 hours, maybe 7 hours. Right? I'm trying to find when I posted, what I said. Okay, boom. So I put this in, and then Kev was the first person to tap in. Right? With God is Music. That is page 42. And then somebody else tapped in with page 593. Okay, let me write these pages down. 42, 593. That's interesting. That's almost the first and the last chapter. Somebody said at the beginning, unfortunately, your vote is invalid. We love you, though. We love you, but you got to have a book to make this vote. Yeah, we got to. Let me see. So I think that's where we're going to go. I'm surprised Paul didn't. Paul was excited. Paul might not even be in there. Paul somewhere getting kicked out of his kitchen. That's where Paul is at. Paul better stop messing around in that kitchen. You know that lady don't play. Oh, Paul doubled down on the God is Music. Wait, was Paul the one that suggested? No, Paul did not suggest that, but he doubled down on it. Okay, so maybe that's where we should start at. Right? Maybe we should start at God is Music. I ain't gonna lie, I really like the way this book is done. I really like the way this book is done. from Barnes and Nobles. It is done very well. The inside of the book is pretty accurate to my specifications, like how I designed it and laid it out. That's not always the case. And y'all see, even the book has blank pages in between the chapters. That was me trying not to make any mistakes, but that's good for you because you have notes. Now, listen, many of you know that this is the debate book. This is the debate book. So I know people are asking, am I putting out a book for the debate? This is the book for the debate with me and Jabari. It's Thursday now. I don't care. It's not like he could order the book today and read and receive it by tomorrow. he can't order this today and receive it by tomorrow. Right? So I'm not really worried about but this is definitely the debate book. 90% of what I'll be presenting in the debate is in this book. Yeah, 90% of what I'll be presenting is in this book. In fact, I may have to take some notes. Yeah, I may have to take some notes from this book and make some changes to my debate. Yeah. Yeah, let me write some. I'm looking right now as I'm flipping through with that in mind. Like, yeah, I might have to. So there might be some things in the book that I may skip today just because they are too crazy. They are too crazy, right? But some things we can discuss. Yeah, some things we can discuss. It's not going to really affect the debate. That's a nuke. Yo. Oh my God, push up P. This is the book. This is the debate book. Everybody's like, well, when is Inky going to drop? When is Inky dropping a debate book? We know he's not going to have a debate with Jabari and not drop a debate book. The debate book was already ready. The debate book was dropped. Listen to this. When me and Jabari had first began discussing the debate over the phone, we didn't even have a topic yet. But he came up with 4 or 5, between him and Unc inside, they came up with like 4 or 5 different things. And so I just went to work. Bop, 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 bop. So that by the time we cover, by the time we have the debate, all the subject matter would be pretty much covered, right? And then obviously the bulk of the book for the people who have it is about Nefer, right? Which is why on the cover of the book, right, you have Nefer right there, right? The windpipe and the heart. Then you have the QRST symbol, right? The wave. And then you have the Olmec depiction of the heart. And then you have two very interesting depictions, right? This is the heart, and then this is love, the goddess of love, shaped as is the heart, right? So her face is shaped like the heart vessel. So it's almost like inside the vessel of the heart is her, right? Like she fills the vessel of the heart kind of vibe, right? So yeah, we got a few things. D Nice tapping in. We gotta listen. We gotta do our own thing because Thanksgiving is not really. How do I word this without sounding like mad disrespectful? Thanksgiving is not an intelligent person's holiday, right? Thanksgiving is not an intelligent person's holiday. It's never been. Thanksgiving is not a holiday for intelligent people, right? Because it doesn't even matter what you actually eat. Intelligent people are not going to overindulge in whatever it is, even if it's ham hocks, pork, you know, whatever it is, the worst you can imagine. Intelligent people just not going to overindulge in it, even if they have some. They're just not going to go crazy. And then outside of that, it's nothing else really to do. You know what I'm saying? You get dressed, you go over to people's house to eat. You sitting around waiting for the food for hours, trying to come up with stuff to do. Maybe chess, maybe, you know, football or basketball, something come on TV, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why it always get wild on Thanksgiving, because people have too much free time and too much liquor around. Liquor mixed with free time is wild in the Black household. I don't know what happens in white folks' households, but I know liquor plus free time is wild. Like it never ceases to be exciting. Oh my goodness. Dominoes, yeah, dominoes happens. Definitely dominoes happens, but dominoes is happening while. See, that's the thing with dominoes and spades. Dominoes and spades, you're never actually playing dominoes and spades, right? Maybe the first game or two, you know, you're excited to play the game, you're playing the game. But the dominoes and spades is usually happen with a cup or two of some sippy, right? So it's only going to be a first couple of games go by before people done, you know, had a few sips. And now, yeah, well, you ain't even sent my baby no birthday card. You know, you start warming up. You know what I'm saying? Start warming up. It start warming up. Yeah, get wild. You know what I'm saying? It's going to get wild. It's going to get wild. People going to start remembering something, and somebody going to ask for support or something, and somebody going to be like, yeah, well, you ain't. So anyway, my point is, you know, we need to have something intelligent for the day, you know, something to engage our minds. See, look at this. Look at this. And Paul is the one. Clearly, Paul is the one. Clearly, Paul is the one. Paul is the one. Because see, when you playing them games, that's when conversation is going on. It's a lot of conversation happening. The conversation you was trying to avoid, and it could be something simple. It could be somebody hiding their report card, or they you know, whatever they got going on. Somebody got fired. They don't want, you know, like it could be something simple that you're trying to hide from the family. You know what I'm saying? But they getting ready to bring it out. And then, you know, that person going to lash out because they didn't want to, you know, whatever. And they going to be like, yeah, well, you ain't mentioned woo. And then, you know, yeah, it's going to warm up. It has a way of doing that. That's just how it goes. Right? I learned a long time ago when I was house hopping. A long time ago, house hopping. That's what people do. The smart people. Or I would say the smarter people. The smarter people. Not necessarily the smartest people, but the smarter people. They house hop on Thanksgiving. Yeah. Just pop in, drop off your dishes, pick up your plates, and then keep it moving. See, that's how you keep it lovely and friendly. You know what I'm saying? Don't stick around. Just drop off whatever you dropping off and pick up. Drop-offs and pickups. You're good. Yeah, drop-offs and pickup. Just touch a few locations. Bop, 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 bop. Take it on back to the house. Yeah, just pop up, grab your plates, whatever it is you coming to pick up, maybe some gifts, or even if it's just hugs. Maybe you just coming to drop off hugs and pick up hugs. Hugs are important. Yeah. All right. Let's get into this book. Ooh, let's get into this book. Should I read the book and let y'all look at me? Or should I put the book on the screen so the people without the book can see the book? Should we share? Should we share a little bit with folks that, or nah? Or not. Maybe we shouldn't share with these people. They haven't got the book. They ain't share with us. Right? They ain't share with us. I'm just saying. Right? I guarantee y'all this God is Music chapter is probably not what y'all think it is. This God is Music chapter is not what y'all, look at y'all. Look at y'all. See, that's what I'm saying. Paul is the one. I don't know what's happening in Paul's house. Paul is on something today. Paul said, we ain't sharing nothing. Bah humbug. Go get your own copy. Yeah, go get your own copy. Paul is on something. I'm rolling with Paul, damn it. Hey, oh man, Paul, we got to listen to the first minister. We got to listen to the first minister, Tika. Tika's the first minister. We got to go along with what Tika's saying. Go along with Tika. Let me see what we got going on over here. Because I do feel like while I'm pulling up the book, though, you know what I mean? While I'm pulling up the book, though, you know what I mean? I could be putting on a little tunes or something.
I love you, Dr. Inky.
My yesterday or tomorrow, I blaze the trail and you follow from the home of the Apollo. I spit and you swallow. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. You are quantum illiterate. Thought you was infinite. Biochemistry, you don't consider it. Wrote 200 books on this, you scribbling. pages of nonsense, fake riddling. God level spitter, no middleman. You dummy, just love me, stop fiddling. God goofy haters, stop glazing. Your jealousy blazing, but I'm out of time. From yesterday to tomorrow, I blaze the trail and you follow from the home to the Apollo. I spit and you swallow. I'm him. I'm him. I'm him.
Okay. Yo, where is my hold up? Hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. You'd have just reminded me, hold up. I'd have been violated on top of violation. I gotta go get my own. This is wild. Let me just stop this madness. The children is not paying me no attention at all. This is crazy. This is wild. I am totally violated. And I got my mix already in my cup ready. Oh, y'all wild for my kitchen looking like that. That's crazy. Y'all dead wrong for my kitchen looking like that. Nope, don't worry about it. Go back and do y'all thing. Just know that I know, and y'all have been put on notice. They are wow. My kitchen look crazy. My kitchen look wow. Yo, my kitchen look wow. All right. God is music. Pause, no primate. Pause, no primate. You must listen to the music daily. You must listen to the music daily. Remember the IQ nerd per Regina, right? See, I shout out everybody. I shout out everybody. If you give me something, I make sure to give you credit, right? The songs in our playlist are taken from the books to speed learning and make retention 1000% easier. Please commit to listen to the music with equal time as you study. You know, I know you're reading so many hours a day. We have to twist your arm to relax with some music. Right? You know that I know that you're reading so many hours. It's hard to twist your arm and get you to relax and listen to some music because you over there studying, 8, 9, 10 hours a day. Right? Y'all over there getting these books. Y'all over there spending 8, 9, 10 hours a day reading these books, right? So, yeah. I just want to go ahead and, twist your arm and force you to listen to some music and relax with the family. Right? Music enters the body as vibration. Those airwaves strike the eardrum and ripple through the cochlea, where thousands of microscopic hair cells turn motion into electricity. Right? We could probably stop right there and go to the whiteboard. Right? We just went We just went 0 to 60, right? Music enters the body as vibration. Those airwaves strike the eardrum and ripple through the cochlea, where thousands of microscopic hair cells turn motion into electricity. Okay? So when we're talking about already, right? What we're talking about already is the conversion of traveling waves into standing waves, into traveling waves, into standing waves, into traveling waves, into standing waves again. That is a fact. That is a fact. It's a couple of books, actually. Let me see. If y'all don't have this book, go get this book, Inky and the Brain Waves. Right? Is this the book we went into the ear? I'm not sure if this is the book we went. Oh, yes, it is. It definitely is. It definitely is. Right? If you don't have this book, you might want to get this book. Right? Because in this book, we dig into that little space. We dig into that little space right there. Right? So here we are in the new book. Right? Here we're in the new book. Right? Books are the food, songs are the vitamins. Right? That is the title. The subtitle is Nefer is Irreducible Complexity. Right? And we jump to, I put up a poll. Yeah, that could be very pause. Yeah, we might need to, we might just need to say a emergency pause, like a prophylactic pause. You know what I'm saying? Like that's, just like a protective pause. You know what I'm saying? But I put up a poll. I put up a poll to, to ask for suggestions about where we should start our discussion in this book. Today, we're not necessarily doing classwork per se. Today, we're just hanging out and we're talking about the new book, right? And so, we're in the new book. And, people said we should start in the chapter, God is Music, at the God is Music chapter. And we get to this seemingly simple and straightforward 2 sentences. Music enters the body as vibration. Those airwaves strike the eardrum and ripple through the cochlea, where thousands of microscopic hair turn motion into electricity. Right? But the crazy thing is that sentence, or those 2 sentences rather, are full of information. Full of information. And this is why I always say you don't see with your eyes or hear with your ears. The more you know, the more you will see, the more you will hear, right? And that in and of itself is a multi-level entendre, right? Because obviously you see and you hear because your eyes and your ears are receptors, right? They're receptors for energy. That's all. They're receptors for energy. That energy has to be sent to the brain and processed, right? So depending on your neural networks, right, how much you know determines how that information will be processed and how rich the harvest will be from that that energy that you sent to the brain, the energy, the information being pulled out of that energy, right? And so Paul who's been around for a few minutes, right? Paul's been with us for a while. Paul is familiar with other books, right? So Paul immediately goes to Inky and the Brainwaves book, right? Because Paul has some more information, right? And when we go into this book, we go to page 4, which is a chapter on protein, right? Page 4 is a chapter on protein. And in this chapter, we talk about, well, let's read a few things. Right? Not only has it been proven that genes and amino acid sequences themselves can be translated into music, but all signals in the brain are vibratory. The thing here is everyone talks about electromagnetic waves being able to travel in a vacuum, but there's no vacuum in the human body. That makes a non-starter when discussing the human body. This is why it's so important to establish the role of fascia in and around the body, as well as the brain. Electricity in the human body causes vibration, the movement of ions, magnetism, spin, etc., all result in sound. The mere fact that your body is all water and gas means that all communication, all chemistry is sonic, right? And then we go to an article, right? We go to an article. This is when our books was still article heavy, right? We go to an article on sonochemistry, right? If you don't know what sonochemistry is, feel free to hit the Google demons. Feel free to hit the Google demons. Let me see. Let me hit the Google demons. Let me hit the Google demons up, right? We in the giving and loving, we in that space. Okay, boo. Okay, just making sure y'all can see. Okay, so what is sonochemistry? Now, if y'all been with us for a while, you know what this is, but if not, this will be your introduction to the term, which probably will open up a whole universe of ideas for you, right? A whole rabbit hole of information. Sonochemistry is the use of ultrasound to enhance or alter chemical reactions by inducing acoustic cavitation. This process involves the formation of violent collapse of bubbles in a liquid, which generates localized extreme temperatures and pressures that can accelerate reactions, create new materials, and increase mass transfer rates. It is often considered a green chemistry approach as it can reduce energy use and waste. Cavitation. When high-intensity sound waves pass through a liquid, they generate alternating high and low pressure cycles that cause tiny bubbles to form and grow. Collapse. These bubbles then collapse with extreme force, creating hot spots with temperatures around 500 K, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Now, this is the extreme side of sonochemistry. The commercial use side, right? The commercial use side. But in a much more gentler space, you can see how much of your chemistry is sonochemistry, right? Much of your chemistry is sonochemistry. And I think that people trying to people digging in the cymatic space, right? much of the cymatics. So there's levels to information and study, right? So you get hip. Maybe you really like music, whatever the case may be. You want to dig into it a little bit more, right? The first spaces you'll probably run into is everything is vibration or frequency, you know, because there's a lot of chakra folks running around. So frequency as a word gets overused. But then you may run into, okay, the world was created with the word, or in Kemet, the world was created with the utterance. Same thing. The word, the utterance. Word is utterance. Just know that, right? So you run into those spaces. You keep messing around, looking around. You'll find cymatics, right? Before you get there, you might find the relationships of shape and angles to frequency, right? You might get into that, you know, RCA records and the whole, you know, Rockefeller changing, you know, what was that? The 440 to the 456 or some whatever it is. They changed the main frequency of sound. But you'll run into some of these pockets, some of these conversations, and any of those will eventually lead you down to cymatics. And so cymatics kind of looks at the surface level of what will eventually will lead you down the road. If you keep looking, right, will eventually lead you down the road to sonochemistry. Ooh. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is delicious. Oh, yeah. I've added some things that I'm not proud of. I've added some things I'm not proud of to my blue magic today. Oh, and it is delicious. It is delicious. That is crazy. The best part of waking up, blue magic in your cup. Yeah, that part. So some things come together, right? Some things come together. Sound and shape, right? Sound and shape. And it's not long you can discuss sound and shape before you wind up talking about Kemet or pyramid or something to that effect. Let me see what we have here. What did we do? All right, so let's jump to page 5. Post article, blah, 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 blah. Then we reference another book, right? So on page 5, we reference the Horus versus Set book, right? The Horus versus Set book takes us into the Quran, takes us to Euclid, takes us to the 3-4-5 triangle, right? Disrespectfully or infamously known as the Pythagorean theorem, Pythagoras' theorem, something like that. We keep moving, and then we talk about, we have a reference to, we have another reference to the Lagote book, right? Let me see. We have a reference to this book. See how these books can take you on a journey, right? Because one book will lead you to another book, which will lead you to another book. And then pretty soon you'll be opening up this book. And this book is an entire universe. You know, you got the multiverses. This is a whole universe by itself. Yeah, there are people who got this book and we lost them. They popped up a few months later, like, yo, that book was crazy. You need to write some more books. I'm like, what? More books? Where have you been? We haven't done anything else but drop more books. Yo, I was in that. Okay. Put the drugs down. Let me see. So the book tells us to go to page 311. Okay, so we go to the Legault book, page 311. If you don't have this book, you should put this in your cart. Right? We go to the Legault book, page 311, and page 311 talks about Solomon's floor, right? Solomon's temple floor, right? And we kind of give the illusion, right? We kind of give the illusion that Solomon's temple floor. Now, in masonry, you learn everything is so layered in masonry. You know, you really got to stick around. You got to stick around in masonry. The crazy thing is a lot of times Masons don't really learn that much. People give them more credit than they deserve. No shot at the brothers. You know what I'm saying? But there is a lot of information that is suggested for Masons to study, but not required. Suggested, but not required to get your degrees or to move up in Masonry. And so a lot of times, most times, people don't spend any time on those things because they don't really join Masonry to learn all the stuff. They don't join Masonry for education. They join Masonry for a zillion other different reasons, but most people don't join for education, right? But anyway, it's rich. There's a bunch of information in there. It's an educational system. Like that's literally what Masonry is. Freemasonry. It was designed as a secret school. That's what it was designed for. When the church fathers outlawed anything that had to do with Kemet upon death, right? And anything that had to do with nature or the sun or water or just anything like, yeah, they created the underground school. But Solomon's floor, you know, there's a variety of levels you can look at it, but one of them, you can look at it very similar to how you would look at the concept of noon, right? The concept of noon, where order and chaos, right? Or binary coding, right? The black and white tiles being ones and zeros, right? And so what happens is we have an article that we start the chapter off with from MIT, right? And the article from MIT, written by David Chandler, 2014, is talking about melanin, specifically eumelanin. It says, we're going to dig a little bit through it and come circle around. We're going to read a little bit of this, and then we're going to go back to the main book, because my books will rabbit hole you to Alice in Wonderland. What is it? Is it Alice in Wonderland? You go down the rabbit hole, and then, you know, yeah, it's crazy. Melanin, and specifically the form called eumelanin, is the primary pigment that gives humans the coloring of their skin, hair, and eyes. It protects the body from the hazards of ultraviolet and other radiation that could damage cells and lead to skin cancer. But the exact reason why the compound is so effective at blocking such a broad spectrum of sunlight has remained something of a mystery. Now, mind you, this is 2014, MIT, right? So don't let no goofy chakra people off the internet tell you something different, right? This is MIT. They coming from the highest level and they telling you as of 2014, they did not know how melanin worked. So this is why I'm telling you, when we go through our timeline in terms of Black's anatomy, our timeline is beyond accurate. In many ways, it could be like prophetic, right? Our timeline is tough. Because I'm trying to explain to y'all, I'm with a bunch of different angles, but one of the main points is that there's still plenty of room for me and plenty of room for you, plenty of room for us to change the world, because the world is not static. There's still very little known about, like the human body. It's still a mystery. It's still a mystery. And this is 2014, MIT telling you still a mystery, right? And this article is a landmark article because they made a landmark discovery, right? Which is the reason why they even released this article, right? So it says, blah, 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 blah. The exact reason why the compound is so effective at blocking such a broad spectrum of sunlight has remained something of a mystery. Now, researchers at MIT and other institutions have solved that mystery, potentially opening the way for development of synthetic material that could have similar light blocking properties. The findings are published this week in the Journal of Nature Communications by graduate students Chun-Ti Chen and Chern Chuang, professor of civil and environmental engineering Marcus Buehler, and 3 others. Although eumelanin has been known for decades, pinning down its molecular structure and identifying the reasons for its broadband light absorption have been a daunting task. This is in part because of the very characteristics that make it so interesting. Typically, the constituents of a chemical compound can be determined through spectroscopy, among other tools. But in this case, the case of eumelanin, the spectrographs don't show the sharp peaks that are ordinarily useful in identification. So, for clarity, what they're talking about is light emission, right? So normally you can identify individual atoms by the light that they give off. Each atom on the periodic table has an individual light signature, unique only to that atom. And so you can map a molecule too small to see by any other means. You can map it by mapping the individual atoms, right? Using their light signature, right? Message, right? You can map molecules by using the individual atoms' light signatures. Now, the crazy thing is that doesn't work for melanin. That doesn't work for melanin, right? Because melanin is pretty much absorbing everything. It's pretty much absorbing everything. So even the spectroscopy pictures are just dark and fuzzy. It's just dark and fuzzy, right? So, all right, so let's rewind that. Typically, the constituents of a chemical compound can be determined through spectroscopy, among other tools. But in the case of eumelanin, the spectrographs don't show the sharp peaks that are ordinarily useful in identification. So indirect means of analysis were needed. The team used a combination of computation and experimental analysis to derive the structure of the material, finding that a major source of the broadband absorption was the physical arrangement of the constituents, not their chemical characteristics. So now, what we're talking about in terms of a melanin molecule is irreducible complexity. We gotta just let that simmer for a minute. Let me write that down. Note to self. Note to self. We might have to revisit this. Right? So the arrangement of the atoms and the units that make up a melanin molecule, their shape is responsible for the function, right? So it's not specifically about the actual atoms and the components, but how they're arranged. Specifically, the combination of disorder and order in the physical arrangement produces a smearing of the material's spectral absorption and provides its crucial broadband blocking ability. You can't do traditional analytical chemistry on this particular system where you isolate each component. Only indirect ways of probing can be used, he says. The disorder that turned out to be key, the team says, a physical disorder called geometric disorder. Now, the thing is, going back to my debate with Unk is a good person to debate in terms of like creating chaos and foolishness and all that, but he's a poor opponent in terms of complexity, right? Bringing information to the table, because there's a lot of stuff that I wanted to discuss in that debate, but it just wasn't required, and some of it was out of place. We'll go over, so there were a lot of things that, a lot of material. This is the reason why going into that debate, I have 4 books, because the material in the books primarily, I use less than 1% of it in the actual debate because of what the competition was. You know what I'm saying? But this is important right here. This is MIT. You don't get any more respected in terms of scientific, this is it. MIT, Oxford, Harvard, like this is the top of the line. Stanford, right? And yeah, they're repeating this concept, this statement of fact over and over. You can't do traditional analytical chemistry on eumelanin. That's crazy. Anyway, The disorder that turned out to be key, the team says, a physical disorder called geometric disorder, right? Geometric disorder. So now we go back to, we were already at geometry, obviously, when they talk about it's not the components, but how the components are arranged. That is a hint to geometry. But this is naming it, making it hyper specific. So it's not a thing about, geometric disorder is different from chemical disorder that other researchers have studied. It turns out that both kinds of disorder may play a complementary role in producing eumelanin's broadband absorption. The material forms tiny crystals, a chemically ordered state, but with intrinsic randomness, such that the orientations of the stacked molecules can be arbitrary and the sizes of the crystals different, forming aggregate structures that are highly disordered. The combination of order and disorder contributes to eumelanin's broadband absorption, right? So it's order and disorder, order and disorder, order and disorder laid out the same way you have black and white tiles on Solomon's floor, or the same way you go ones and zeros, right? Binary coding, or, just duality in general, right? Male, female, electric, magnetic. So anyway, it's interesting, right? Get the book, right? We complete the article and go into a bunch of more stuff. Magnetic grains, and we have to go back. We have to start opening this book up a little bit more. We even have Esau and Jacob make an appearance. All in this chapter. All right. So anyway, there's that, right? And the reason why I wanted to read a little bit through that article on melanin is because melanin is one of the primary drivers in terms of converting waves, traveling waves, into standing waves, which is important in your ear, right? Converting traveling waves into standing waves, and then converting those standing waves back into traveling waves, and then converting those traveling waves back into standing waves, and then converting those standing waves back into traveling waves, and then back into standing waves. So the traveling wave hits the ear, right? In the ear, right, in the cochlea, which is like a little spirally kind of step pyramid, right, is loaded with melanin, right? So in there, those traveling waves are going to be converted into standing waves. Those standing waves are going to go into the little hairs, the little cilia in the cochlea, right? The little cilia are going to be vibrating, right, by the standing waves. That's going to be converted by the nerves, because there's nerves attached to those cilias, right? So now we got traveling waves again. So these waves can travel to the brain, right? When they get to the brain, they're going to be converted again to standing waves in the neurons they activate. Those neurons are going to do their thing, right? And then fire off. So now we're going to have more traveling waves, right? Brain waves. And then as brain waves synchronize, you have standing waves again, right? So you have traveling waves converted to standing waves, converted to traveling waves, converted to standing waves, converted to traveling waves, converted to... Right? Like, I don't know what you're talking about. This is important. See, this is why I couldn't have a debate with this with Unc. Like, what the audience would be like, wait, what is he talking about? What is he talking about? Mhm. So in the Inky and the Brainwaves book, we kind of go into that. We have a big diagram of the cochlea and how the cochlea breaks down sound. And this is like kind of like from the outside. If you see those black strips going through the cochlea, those black strips are melanin. Yeah. Those black strips is melanin, right? And depending on the traveling waves, right, depends on where they're going to stop, right? So the high frequency is going to be at the base. The mid range is obviously going to be in the middle, and the low frequency is going to make it all the way up to the top, right? And this largely determines our frequency range of hearing, right? The cochlea with our little crystals, right? So anyway, if you don't have the Inky and the Brainwave book, go to Amazon, add that to your cart. I'm an outsider of the HOK. Continue to bring Class A information. Good, sir. Support from South Carolina. That is love. We appreciate that. We appreciate that. Right? We definitely appreciate love is always good. All right, so let's go back to the main book. Right? Let's go back to the main book. We were somewhere in this book. Oh, no, we didn't get anywhere. That's crazy. We didn't get anywhere in this book. It's been an hour and a half. Well, probably an hour. The first 20, 30 minutes was music, right? But it's been an hour easy, and we haven't went anywhere in the book. And this is what people are doing in their house. This is what people are doing in their house. You open up one book and you start reading, and before you know it, you've put that book down, you've picked up another book, you've started reading through that book, and then you've put that book down, and then you've picked up another book, right? So before long, we have read maybe 3 or 4 sentences, and then we go. We're supposed to go to the whiteboard. No, we're not going to the whiteboard. If we go to the whiteboard, we're never getting anywhere in this book. We are never getting anywhere in this book if we go to the whiteboard. Right? All right. So, where we at? The airwaves strike the eardrum and ripple through the cochlea, where thousands of microscopic hair cells turn motion into electricity. From there, impulses climb the auditory nerves into the brainstem and onward to the auditory cortex. Instantly, the brain starts sorting the signals. What's pitch? What's rhythm? What's tone? The left side works the timing and structure, while the right side paints the color and melody. It's not just hearing, it's decoding vibration into meaning, right? This is very important because this is one of the things I really wanted to get into with Unc, the Darwin conversation, right? The brain doesn't wait for the next note, it predicts it. The motor system, especially the basal ganglia and cerebellum, fire along with rhythm even when you're not moving. It's very important because this is speaking to our ability, remember, to recognize patterns, right? Recognizing patterns. That's very important. And when you're making music, right? When you're making music, it's important to create patterns in the mind of the listener and then to break those patterns. So you break the expectation. That makes the listener listen in even more, right? They bob in their head, and then all of a sudden you got a break in the beat, right? Or the beat drop, or the music change. You might keep the same tempo and the same melody, but you might change the drums. Or you might keep the same drums, but you might change the melody, right? Very important when making your music, right? But also very important when learning, when observing life, right? That's why your foot taps without permission. The timing circuits anticipate the beat, and when the next sound arrives exactly or unexpectedly where the brain expects, dopamine floods the reward centers. That moment just before and after a drop or chord change is where musical pleasure lives. Remember, dopamine is a part of attention, retention, and neuromelanin circuitry. The emotional response is wired through the limbic system. The amygdala tags certain chords as joyful or sorrowful. The insula translates those emotional waves into physical feeling, chills, tears, or racing pulse. And the nucleus accumbens links it all to pleasure, right? So I think it's the is it the playlist before last? I think it's the playlist before last where we have the songs, where the songs is kind of going through all of the brain spaces where how the brain is wired to music. Anyway, it's in the music. That's why, listen, the books are the food, the songs are the vitamins, right? Memory ties everything to, oh, no. Where was that? The amygdala tags certain chords as joyful or sorrowful. The insula translates those emotional waves into physical feeling, chills, tears, or racing pulse. And the nucleus accumbens links it all to pleasure. Music is one of the rare experiences that synchronizes multiple reward and emotional networks at once, uniting the body and the mind in the same pulse. Memory ties everything together. The hippocampus stores the patterns so a melody from childhood could reopen an entire moment decades later, right? So this is why we try to give y'all a couple little, you know what I'm saying? Hold up. We try to give y'all a couple little songs and all that. We try to give y'all a couple little songs and all that. You know what I'm saying? Let me see what we got here. Yeah, we try to give y'all a couple little songs and all that. Let me see what we got here. Little Holiday Jones. Little Holiday Jones.
I love you, Dr. Inky.
Get money, get rich. Today is the only day. Get money, get rich. Today is the only day. Health is wealth, herbs, bitters, moss. Get money, get rich. Yeah. Oh. Inky giving sight to the blind, realignment. Healing the sick is time and divine assignment. I wrote more books than your doctor ever read it. Sent kids to college off the words that I said. Sacrifice parties, turn down sexual offers. 200 books made my children authors. Script my legacy in pages. Left the club stages. Wisdom caged in paper. Freedom's wages. Get money, get rich. Today is a holy day. Get money, get rich. Today is a holy day. Health is wealth, herbs, bitters, moss. Get money, get rich.
Now hold up. Because everybody's not happy. So we got holiday songs too. Hold up. We got anti-holiday songs too. Wait a minute. Oh my goodness. Let me get my charger for my computer go dead. Let me get my charger. Hopefully my computer does not go dead in this time. All right, hit the playlist. Hit the Holy Days playlist.
Hello, Dr. Enki.
Hit the Holy Days playlist and then tap into one of these three songs right here. We're going to go on this song number 3.
Parts of Texas, parts of California, going right up to La Plata in Canada. This civilization known as Olmec was to touch all other civilizations in America. The Maya, the Toltec, the Aztec, etc. It was even to stretch right out into South America. What is very unusual about this civilization was that not only was it the mother of American civilizations, but it contained elements that were not just native to America, but was a fusion between the Native American and people coming from outside. The most significant of those outsiders were the Africans. We have very clear evidence in stone heads, in terracottas that are clay sculptures, as well as skulls and skeletons of an African physical type entering that native population.
Happy holidays, do you ever have any? Happy holidays, do you ever have any? Happy holidays, do you ever have any? Halloween designed to give you diabetes, candy corn dripping, cavities greedy. We have sex, get high, drink gin on a holy day. Blessings feel sticky, sins won't decay. Whose holy way is to sin on a holy day? Preachers selling miracles, snakes on display. Christopher Columbus, a rapist, Santa Claus a joke. History in shambles, we hang by the rope. Black Friday's built to make your wallet go broke. Happy holidays if you ever have any. Happy holidays if you ever have any. Happy holidays if you ever have any. Holy days are not holy unless you stay pure. The game is holy war, I'm the MVP score. Angels in the rafters, demons in the corner, pause, no shot, cause they loving my aura. Violin strings cry, heavy 808 thunder. Beatbox rattles, hearts tear asunder. Spiritual warfare, a spell that we under. I see halos crack, broken wings fall. Holy days twisted, commercial and all. But I light my own fire, let the soul call. I'm a rebel saint walking through the
Hello?
Inky prayer number 2. We give thanks and praise to the Most High God for the divine spark that set ourselves into perpetual motion. We give thanks for the magnetism of the most holy, the magnetism that repels and attracts the ferry boats of light 60,000 miles every 60 seconds throughout our vessels and caves. We give thanks for the ability to drink clean water every 60 minutes, flooding the river of life. We give thanks that sugar has not covered our ferries and turned them into stone. We give thanks that darkness has not covered the riverbanks with calcium and turned them into stone. We give thanks that anger and fear have not turned our almonds bitter, turning our heart to stone. We give thanks for smooth sailing upstream through the valley of death, through the superior vena cava into the right atrium. We give thanks for smooth sailing around the heart through the corona crown, joining the vortex in the right atrium. We give thanks for the perfect black solar repeater that induces the primary electromagnetic wave, opening the mouth of the Kodesh HaKodeshim. We give thanks for the mechanical wave produced when the mouth of the Kodesh HaKodeshim closes. We give thanks to the ray wave, reflecting on the semi-lunar valves, opening a pathway to the vineyard. We give thanks for the mechanical wave produced when the lunar gate to the vineyard closes. We give thanks to the Most High God that provides the light and our Inky prayer number 2. We give thanks and praise to the Most High God for the divine spark that set our cells into perpetual motion. We give thanks for the magnetism of the most holy, the magnetism that repels and attracts the ferry boats of light 60,000 miles every 60 seconds throughout our vessels and caves. We give thanks for the ability to drink clean water every 60 minutes, flooding the river of life. We give thanks that sugar has not covered our ferries and turned them into stone. We give thanks that darkness has not covered the riverbanks with calcium and turned them into stone. We give thanks that anger and fear have not turned our almonds bitter, turning our heart to stone. We give thanks for smooth sailing upstream through the valley of death, through the superior vena cava into the right atrium. We give thanks for smooth sailing around the heart through the corona crown, joining the vortex in the right atrium. We give thanks for the perfect black solar repeater that induces the primary electromagnetic wave, opening the mouth of the Kodesh HaKodeshim. We give thanks for the mechanical wave produced when the mouth of the Kodesh HaKodeshim closes. We give thanks to the ray wave, reflecting on the semi-lunar valves, opening a pathway to the vineyard. We give thanks for the mechanical wave produced when the lunar gate to the vineyard closes. We give thanks to the Most High God that provides the light and our breath, and the light in our breath. We give thanks for the fine olfactory system that makes our grapes ripe with light. We give thanks for the Jed pillar that provides us with a stable fleet of ferry boats to dock in our vineyard. We give thanks for smooth sailing through the pulmonary vein into the storm of the left atrium. We give thanks for the perfect black solar repeater that induces the primary electromagnetic wave, opening the mouth of the Kodesh HaKodeshim. We give thanks for the mechanical wave produced when the mouth of the Kodesh HaKodeshim closes. We give thanks to the ray wave, reflecting on the semi-lunar valves, opening a pathway into the holy royal arch of the Wa scepter. We give thanks for the mechanical wave produced when the lunar gate into the holy royal arch of the Wa scepter closes. We give thanks for the magnetism of the most holy, the magnetism that repels and attracts the ferry boats of light 60,000 miles every 60 seconds throughout our vessels and our caves. Amen. Amen. See, we give thanks. We give thanks all year long. All year round, all day. Right? We giving thanks. I thought it was the second half of it. It came after the Go book. What is Paul and M4 talking about? No. Hold on. Let me settle y'all debate. This is the first half. This is the first half. And then this is the second half. Yeah, so this is the first half, and then this is the second half. This is how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be like this. How you know this is the second half is because this got more reference articles than this one. Yeah, so when I wrote it originally, it was like this with all of the reference articles in the back, or most of them anyway. And then when I had to break it down, so I don't know what y'all was talking about. I do know that them books is tough, though. I do know for sure that them books is tough. I think y'all was both right, even though I didn't see what y'all was talking. I don't see all the messages. I was on another page. When I'm sharing screens, or even when I'm sharing the screen and the share screen is not on the screen where y'all can see it, I can't see the StreamYard or the chat. Yeah, because as soon as you hit the share screen, whatever that is, it pops up on front of the StreamYard. All right, so anyway, where was we at? The brain, the cerebellum, your foot tapping. The emotional response is wired through the limbic system. The amygdala tags certain chords. Okay, we did that. Memory ties everything together. The hippocampus stores patterns, so a melody from childhood can reopen an entire. Okay, that's kind of where we was at. Even in Alzheimer's, when names are gone, songs remain, because musical memory is stored through emotion and rhythm, not just words. Every replay strengthens those neural tracks, turning familiar songs into emotional shortcuts through time. This is why, this is like one of the major points to why combining listening to the playlist with studying the books is important. It's a different type of memory, right? It's a different type of memory. And we go through that in, right? The If P, then Q book, right? If P, then Q. We talk about how all of the memory system works in the brain, right? So if you don't have this book, definitely go add this book to your cart. All of these books are on Amazon except this book, right? With this book, we moving on up like George and Wheezy. Right? And if we get enough people to buy this book, right, which might be a lofty dream, who knows, right? But if we can ever get enough people to buy this book, I can start traveling around, right? I can start traveling around and come to people's cities. You know what I'm saying? That's a unique feature of Barnes and Nobles, is that Barnes and Nobles has in-house, right? So that would be like taking care of the venue. I could come to the city and do a lecture in the Barnes and Nobles because they have the book. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, we can take it to, we can take it to another level if we get, X amount of sales of the book. That's how Barnes and Noble works. You got to get X amount of sales before, you know what I mean? All right, so the music strengthens the learning, strengthens the memory retention. Even in Alzheimer's, when names are gone, songs remain because music memory is stored through emotion and rhythm, not just words. Every replay strengthens those neural tracks, turning familiar songs into emotional shortcuts through time. Training or frequent listening rewires these circuits. Musicians develop thicker connections between hemispheres and faster signal flow between auditory motor areas. Music practice doesn't just improve playing music, it sharpens attention, timing, and language comprehension. The same neural scaffolding that decodes melody helps us process speech and emotion, right? So listening to music, certain types of music every day, changes the way your brain functions. That's another reason why people are like, yo, Inky, why you making all these songs and boo? Because there's a whole nother level to brain development that we can't get from words alone. We have to combine the words with the music. Right? And I'm surprised that people didn't see this coming because we literally been saying, like, I mean, look at this book. Look at this book. This book doesn't just have God as music in the book, like it's on the cover. Right? So it should, not to mention, if we look at the cover, let me pull this back up. If we look at the cover, you have your aorta / was scepter on the guitar, right? So your guitar is an entendre for two things, right? When you look at the cover, the guitar is an entendre for two things, right? Your windpipe and the Jed pillar, right? The windpipe and the Jed pillar, right? So the conversation was coming sooner or later, right? Ultimately, the brain is a resonator. Its own electrical rhythms, alpha, beta, theta, gamma, oscillate like music itself. When external rhythm locks onto internal oscillation, brain waves and body signals synchronize. That's why a song can change your heart rate, calm your anxiety, or induce focus. The nervous system and the music become one instrument. Electricity meeting vibration, emotion meeting pattern. The brain's relationship to music and those rocks in your ears, right? The otolith crystals stretch Darwin's causal pattern, passing for a theory beyond recognition. Natural selection can explain the survival of hearing for communication or predator avoidance, but not the fine-tuned multi-system resonance that turns vibration into joy, memory, or transcendence. There's no answer for that in terms of evolutionists. Evolutionists have no idea how to explain music. They have no idea how to explain music. Listen. Evolutionists and evolutionary science. Music is a black hole. They avoid it. Now, this is not just Darwin. This is Darwin, neo-Darwin, evolutionary biologists. This is whoever you want to get that wears the tag and holds the mantle for evolutionary thinking. They have no answers for music. Period. There is no box big enough or strong enough to fit music into it. So they always want to avoid that. So that was a part of my deep waters, you know, that I was going to drag Unk into. And I still may drag Sekou into it. Depends on who winds up on the other side of the next evolution debate, if we have another one. Right? Because me mentioning it here doesn't prepare them. Me mentioning it here won't be able to prepare them, because you can't be prepared for something that has no answers. Right? Anyway, so you have these crystals in your ear, right, which work with your that little step pyramid, that little funnel, that vortex. It's like an upside down tornado, your cochlea. It's like an upside down tornado, but the way it's built, it looks like a rounded step pyramid, right? But it's really like an upside down tornado, which is the other shape, right? Evolution would have had to stumble step by step toward a network that synchronizes sound with emotion, timing, body movement, and biochemical reward across every hemisphere, organ, and filament in the body. That's orchestration, not accident. The otoliths themselves, tiny crystals of calcium carbonate that detect gravity and acceleration, act like mineral sensors inside a living gyroscope. They give your body spatial orientation by translating mechanical vibration into electric currents. They're literal stones wired for motion and sound. The idea that such a crystalline neural interface, self-assembled, without a guiding field or informational blueprint, strains even the most generous evolutionary model. This is a Darwinist nightmare. Period. No, the debate is not tonight. The debate is tomorrow. The debate is tomorrow. But this is the book with all of the debate material in it. That's on Barnes and Noble. So make sure you go get the book. Yeah, now I can say that because it's too late. You know what I'm saying? Either Jabari has already ordered it, which I doubt he did, because if he did, he would have probably forfeited and quit the debate. And if he orders it today, it won't come by tomorrow. and they don't have any in store. So if you go into a Barnes and Noble and you say, hey, I want to get this book, they'll look it up in the computer and go, oh yeah, we can order it for you and you can come back and pick it up. So he's stuck. Anyway, the complexity deepens when you realize the vestibular and auditory systems share embryonic origin and circuitry. The same hair cells that read balance also read rhythm. That means our ability to stand upright, which primates don't even have. I'm going to say that again. Let me just start back over for the people way back there in the back. This is why I keep telling y'all, I don't care what y'all say. I'm not with the monkeys. So if you agree that you got common ancestors, cousins, uncles, and all that with the monkeys and all that, that's your family. Yeah, that's your family. That ain't my. I'm not. I'm not. I ain't got none of them. No uncles, great granddaddy, great nothings. No, we. Just saying. The complexity deepens when you realize the vestibular and auditory systems share both embryonic origin and circuitry. The same hair cells that read balance also read rhythm. That means our ability to stand upright, which primates don't even have, dance and feel, all trace back to the same electromechanical roots. The physics of that mechano-electrical transduction, calcium resonance, and field synchronization points toward design principles woven through matter itself. I'll say that again. The physics of that mechano-electrical transduction, calcium resonance, and field synchronization point toward design principles woven through matter itself. Field synchronization. What I mean by that is your body is hardwired to your environment because you actually have hard material, hard systems that are wired to interpret the signals from the environment and translate that into electricity. And then that electricity is translated into neurochemistry. And that's an ongoing thing. You are constantly wired into your environment, right? Now, how is that possible? How is that possible to be geometrically, mathematically wired to your environment? By accident. Like, I'm just saying. Right? It is not possible. Vibration became perception. Minerals became instruments. And the nervous system became a living amplifier. Darwin could describe inheritance and variation, but he never touched the informational architecture or bioelectric coherence required for music, balance, or awareness. Those belong to a deeper layer of natural law where information, resonance, and geometry guide biology more precisely than chance, right? So this is another reason why we just went ahead and read a little bit of that MIT article, right? Hopefully it's clicking, some of it's clicking. And then we showed the cochlea so you could see the melanin strips, right? Hopefully it's clicking. And then also we talked about the irreducible complexity of melanin in and of itself. Right? Hopefully it's clicking, right? Because what do we have in the heart? Cardiac melanocytes, right? Hopefully it's clicking. Every cell in you, every hair cell in the ear, every oscillation in a neuron plays inside an invisible medium, the electromagnetic field of the body. When you hear or play music, you're not just processing vibration through the auditory system, you're entraining the entire field. The heart's electromagnetic rhythm, the brain's oscillations, and the fascia's piezoelectric currents all start to synchronize. That's why a powerful song can make your skin tingle or your posture change. The body's field is literally resonating with external frequency. The otoliths, those crystals in your ear, are like tuning forks anchored in a liquid. They translate gravitational pull and acceleration into charge movement. Their mineral composition means they interact directly with both mechanical vibration and magnetic flux. So when sound enters, you're not only hearing with the brain, you're feeling with the living mineral sensors in the ear, the same way quartz responds inside a radio. The body is a broadcast system. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we got to cook. We got to cook more than turkey on Thanksgiving. We got to cook more than turkey on Thanksgiving. Field music describes the exact phenomenon when vibration aligns with the field, coherence rises, heart rate, breath rhythm, and even neural timing begin to phase lock into a unified waveform. That's the physical side of what people call harmony. It's not mystical in the sense of being unmeasurable. It's electromagnetic synchronization, a field playing itself. If we look honestly at how the brain handles music, mathematics, and pattern, it's hard to pretend this wiring just appeared through blind selection. The same circuits that track rhythm and harmony are the ones that detect numerical proportion, right? That's geometry for the folks all the way back there in the back. The same circuits that track rhythm and harmony are the ones that detect numerical proportion, spatial symmetry, and predictive structure. Music and math are two expressions of the same field language. From the start of life, even before conscious memory, the infant brain recognizes ratio, the spacing of beats, the distance between notes, the symmetry of faces, the cadence of speech. Those are mathematical operations, not learned conventions. Neural populations in the parietal and prefrontal cortices automatically map quantity, proportion, and change over time. The cerebellum and basal ganglia measure intervals like a metronome. The auditory cortex performs Fourier-like decomposition of waveforms, separating fundamental frequencies from harmonics. Physics and math coded into tissue. Right? So I need y'all to understand. Happy Brainsgiving. Whoa, that's crazy. I can't even believe I read that. I shouldn't even read that out loud. That is very plausible. That is very plausible. That is crazy right there. Happy Brainsgiving. Yo, that's wow. Yo, that's wow. Yo, that's wow. Paul set me up. That's crazy. I know where your heart was at, Paul. Don't worry. We know where your heart was at, Paul. We know where your heart was at. We know what you meant to. Yeah, we know what you was trying to. We know what you was trying to meant to had communicated. You know, meant to had trying to say, because what had happened was, yeah, we know. That was crazy right there. The auditory cortex performs Fourier-like decomposition of waveforms, separating fundamental frequencies from harmonics, physics and math encoded into tissue. To call that hardwired is a way of avoiding the obvious question: where did the code come from? When a newborn with no training can recognize consonance versus dissonance or show preference to rhythmic regularity, we're looking at architecture tuned to mathematical harmony. The tuning implies an informational blueprint deeper than genetics, a field of order guiding development. DNA can specify proteins, but it doesn't contain geometric and temporal laws that make those proteins assemble into resonant circuits. I want y'all to understand that. Remember, I was saying the Department of Defense put up a lot of money to study biomagnetism, right? That's the next level, right? There's been a lot of noise about bioelectricity, right? A lot of noise. The next level is biomagnetism. That's what the secret labs are working on right now. Magnetism, right? They're going all the way back to Anton Mesmer, right? Anton Mesmer and figuring out where he was right, where he was wrong, where he figured out what he figured out from, and bringing that all the way fast forward to studying heme and iron transport in the body, and how iron interacts with copper and all of these different things, right? Because magnetism is the future in terms of understanding the human body. It's the next wave anyway. But this is the reason why. This is the reason why. Because DNA, the 64 codons, etc., they got it. DNA has the codes to produce the proteins. The problem is the information for how those proteins arrange themselves and where they arrange themselves and how they are put together and all that, that information is not in the DNA, which is scary. That is scary. That's not just like groundbreaking. This is spooky stuff. This is why Einstein says spooky action at a distance. He used spooky not because he was trying to make a racial epithet for black folks. He used spooky because it was scary. The implications were scary for science, particularly scary for atheists and evolutionist people. These are scary concepts. Where is the information coming from for how our body is building itself? Because it is a constant influx of information that is building the body, which is the reason why we have a book called I keep saying that part. The reason why we have a book called, the book's supposed to pop out at that moment. Yeah, the book was supposed to pop out at that moment. The blueprint that builds itself. This is kind of a thicker book. The blueprint that builds itself. The words are big and well spaced though, so it's not that hard to read. You can get through it quickly. Right? So if you don't have that book, you know what I'm gonna say. If you don't have that book, I just found me a little gold mine of my favorite little treats. I must have been hiding those from the children. But yeah, if you don't have this book, go to Amazon and add this to your cart. Right? The best part of waking up. All right, I feel like we're doing something though. We on the second. We done read 4 pages. 4 pages in 2 hours. Right? In other words, the brain doesn't learn math and music, it remembers them. The ratios that govern a musical scale are the same ones that govern orbital mechanics, wave interference, and atomic spacing. If this wasn't my brand new book, I might have threw it on the ground just now. The book is so dense. And now we could write something on the whiteboard. Man, but I don't even want to erase this because this kind of belong up here already. Right? But we do need to make a note of those things in case we come back. Sometimes what I write on the whiteboard is not for y'all. Sometimes I write on the whiteboard for me. Right? Sometimes I write on the whiteboard for me. Yeah, sometimes I'm writing on the whiteboard for me so I can remember stuff. Because my brain float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Right? But this is important to everything that we do in terms of the Church of Winning Nefer, melanin versus diabetes, comedic naturopathy, all of our houses and movements that the codex, right? All of our houses and movements, right? Center around what we just read, right? So musical scale, right? Musical scale wave interference. That looked terrible, even for me. And atomic spacing. Right? So what does that mean? That means everything. All of life and matter, right? All of life and matter can be covered in these 3 things right here. All of life and matter can be covered in these 3 things right here. This is very important. This is important enough for me to end the video with this. I might end this video with this. Yeah, we might end the video with this. This is that important. We have found a spot. We have found a spot in the book. A mic drop. Right? This is that important. Right? Musical scale, wave interference, and atomic spacing. Right? So atomic spacing, okay, you got to come down. Atomic spacing, and we've been kind of looking at that over the last couple of weeks a little bit. Even when we had Tanai on outside of locking his butt up, right? Outside of Hotep Court, right? We did get to ask him his ideas on atomic theory and some of those concepts, right? So let's say this is your nucleus, right? Let's say this is your proton and neutron space, right? Your orbital spacing for your electrons is going to be this stuff out here, right? And the electrons are not everywhere. The electrons are not everywhere, right? The electrons have certain spacing, very specific spacing. which you can scale this up, atomic spacing, and look at our solar system, right? If each planet did not have its own specific spacing, life could not exist. Earth would have crashed into Mars or Venus or whatever already, right? But each planet, right, revolving around the sun has its own spacing, right? This spacing is intelligence in and of itself. It is organization, right? It is organization, right? So atomic spacing is very important, right? And so when we look at the fact that musical scale, right? Musical scale laws are the same laws of wave interference and atomic spacing. It might finally click for some of you, you know, when I keep saying that there's a reason why it's valuable enough to invent somebody to steal the intellectual property associated with this. The 3-4-5 triangle, right? Because musical scale, wave interference, and atomic spacing, all of this was condensed down by our ancestors into this. This was the system right here, the 3-4-5 triangle, to teach ratio and spacing. Ratio, spacing, and vibration all come out of this understanding. And the 3-4-5 comes from the study of the sky, the stars, the planets, which is where the first calendars come from in Kemet, right? So they had 3 seasons of 4 months each. 3 seasons of 4 months each with 5 leftover days, right? This is what they got from observing the sky, the right? The stars and the sky, right? That's what they got from observing the above. Allow them to figure out the below, right? So this is why this intellectual property is valuable enough to steal, right? Because not only did this allow them to figure out everything else, because this is literally everything else. All science on Earth is here, right? When we talk about atomic spacing is quantum. So not only is this quantum mechanics, but everything that sits on top of it, which is all of Newton's physics and all that stuff. You have to get this first. This is the base of the pyramid. You can't build a structure without the base. You can't build a building without a cornerstone. This would be it, right? And that's just atoms, right? But atoms make everything, all matter. All energy, atoms, right? And how the atoms, right? So pay attention, because this information here, this science, right? This African science, from my guy Sekou, he might need that wherever he is, right? But this science gives you the basics for how atoms are structured. Right? The actual structure of atoms. We could not have come to that understanding without this. Right? Then you go up one. Wave interference. Now we get to how atoms interact. How atoms interact, right? Because you can't get the understanding of how atoms interact without understanding the relationship of a photon and an electron. So all of that came first. All of that came first in terms of modern science, right? So you have Max Planck doing his thing, black body radiation, which is the absorption and emission of light. And then you have, which is kind of crazy that he's doing that before Maxwell figures out what light actually is. Anyway, that's just the timeline. So you have Max Planck, then you have Maxwell, and that is in the time period between black folks being on plantations and being let go, right? So 1865 is a very interesting, like starter pistol. 1865, the gun goes off. What happens? Diabetes. Starting in 1866, type 2 diabetes is off to the races. At the same time, we have the soil, right, in America becoming unstable because now the caretakers of the soil are not taking care of the soil anymore, right? So that problem begins. And so you have, dust bowls and just the erosion of the American farm life to the point of the Great Depression, which leads to creating chemical fertilizers and chemical foods and processed foods like we have now, right? Anyway, while that's initially happening, 1866 to 1900, that's the backdrop to where Max Planck and Maxwell and all of these guys overseas are doing their thing, right? All of these discoveries take place overseas because in America, the revolution and the civil, war and all of this is going on. Slaves just get free and blah, blah, blah. No farm. People could barely feed themselves in America, let alone think about scientific exploration, right? So if you look at a lot of these discoveries, it's Germany, or some of them are even in England, right? That later we import and take control of the IP for, right? But anyway, wave interference, right? Wave interference is the discussion that we're primarily having, traveling waves and standing waves, right? Or at least we kind of sort of started having, right? Traveling waves and standing waves, right? Traveling waves. Funny thing is, they knew about this in ancient times because in the Bible, one of my favorite passages in Job says, can you make the lightnings go like, I forgot the exact thing, but he was saying like, can you make the lightnings travel from one place to another and speak on the other side? So traveling waves, intelligible traveling waves, like can you encode information and then send it out through traveling waves and have somebody decode it on the other end, right? So with wave interference though, wave interference is where you get light from, right? So wave interference is where we get light from. So there's no such thing as internet, Wi-Fi, or any technology associated. There's no drones. None of that's happening without this. And we don't get any of that technology without this, right? From Kemet, right? All of that starts with wave interference, right? Remember, you have alternating, right? It's hard to draw them, but you have alternating electric fields and magnetic fields, and at a 90-degree angle from where those fields interact is where a photon comes from. That is the electromagnetic theory of light, right? How electric fields and magnetic fields generate light, right? And this is a reversible phenomenon. Light can then generate electric and magnetic fields backwards, right? But we get that from wave interference, right? And then we also get, right? We also get vortexes, right? Spirals, right? Or whirlwinds, as they're listed in the Bible, right? Whirlwinds, right? This is a major shape of energy, of wave interference, right? Because this is how energy is dissipated. This is how energy is distributed in very specific patterns like this, right? This is why the golden ratio is important. And so a lot of other spirals are considered to be highly important because it is how energy is distributed and dissipated. How energy is distributed and dissipated. So architects have to know this stuff because when they build buildings and all that, depending on how and where and all that, they have to be able to dissipate the energy or the building to come down with people in it, right? So then you also get this shape. You also get this shape, which is a resonant cavity, right? A resonant cavity for standing waves based around atomic spacing. But it's not just atomic spacing, because again, we could scale it all the way up to the solar system, right? Where you have the sun, and then you have the planets at certain intervals spaced around the sun, right? So you have this shape, which is very important, right? This would be one of the most important shapes in history, in the history of all life on Earth. This will never lose its importance, right? So you have this everywhere, right? This is everywhere, right? This is in Kemet. From Kemet, it went to the east through the Yellow River population and became the first letter in the Chinese alphabet, right? You have it as the circumpunct. You have it as obviously the first depiction of what an atom is. You have this in masonry, right? All we have to do is add 2 lines to it. And now you have a very important Masonic symbol, right? So this is a very important shape because of how it allows waves to interfere or intercourse with one another, right? This is what stars are made out of. This is how stars work. This is how the sun works. The sun is a resonant cavity for standing waves, right? And so standing waves have a shape. All right, standing waves have a shape. Here's the shape of standing waves, right? That is the shape of standing waves, like your eye. The almond shape of your eye or the shape of your mouth is the shape of a standing wave, right? The almond shape of your eye or your mouth is a standing wave, right? So when you see all those videos, people like, why does Inky have a mouth on the video, right? Those people asking why I have a mouth on the video is people who do not have the books. If you don't have the books, when you listen to the music and you watch the videos, you don't know what you're looking at, which is how most of the world is. You could watch a TV show or a movie and you have no idea what you're looking at. You're getting the surface level story. You know, somebody gets kidnapped, somebody with a gun comes and karate beats up everybody and frees the lake. Like, that's a surface level of the movie. There's a lot of other stuff that's happening in the movie that you just aren't privy to, right? So this is a standing wave, right? This is the first harmonic or basic fundamental shape of a standing wave. When two traveling waves of equal frequency interface, this is what that looks like, right? So very interesting that is, those are both of those are hieroglyphs for Re, the god Re, right? Very important, right? Both of those symbols, right? Kemet gave us both of those, right? They gave us the science and then the information decoded from the science, right? Very important, right? And then we have musical scale. We have musical scale, right? Musical scale is how we take the parts apart, and we can rebuild the parts because we have the parts and their interactions, right? And so that's the reason why when you look at how the Kemetic cosmology is set based on this, right? The Kemetic cosmology is based on the 3-4-5 triangle and musical scale. How do you know? Because it is always 8 and 1, right? 8 and 1, right? 8 and 1 is musical scale. 8 and 1 is the divine organization of harmony. The organization of harmony is how energy becomes matter. All right. Anyway, I don't know. Some of y'all are getting high right now. Some of y'all are getting high right now. Y'all done rolled up something. Or y'all eating some macaroni with 10 different cheeses in it. Right? The best part of waking up is blue magic in your cup. Yeah, the mufkas is in full effect, right? All right, so where was we at in the book? In other words, the brain doesn't learn math and music, it remembers them. Right. The ratios that govern musical scale are the same ones that govern orbital mechanics, wave interference, and atomic spacing. What? You trolling, bro.
I ain't.
This boy trolling. I appreciate you, sir. I appreciate you, sir. My children are troll. It's a trollathon happening. They said that they just finished going in the backyard and digging up the probiotics out of the soil from the backyard. And my other son, he said he just finished plucking the grass from the front yard that we're going to have for Thanksgiving dinner. We eating raw grass with dirt from the backyard. We got grass from the front yard, and we're going to have some dirt from the backyard. I gotta see what they done did in my kitchen, bro. My kitchen look crazy. Yo, for real. Paul, see you with Paul. We on the same page, Paul. Paul, we on the same page. Get it out the mud. Get it out the mud. Yeah, we getting it out the mud, man. What y'all think is going on, man? We trying to get it out the mud for real. Right? So, learning is recognition of resonance. When incoming patterns match the pre-existing field geometry, neurons fire together more easily. The myelin sheath thickens and comprehension feels like truth. That's when something you hear resonates with you. It resonates with you because you recognize the pattern. Right? You recognize the pattern, so it resonates. That's why, think about that. Think about the words we use. When we talk about waves, which all there is waves, right? There are traveling waves, there are standing waves. That's it. There's nothing else really going on in the universe, right? You have electromagnetic waves and you have mechanical waves, right? Waves resonate, right? You resonate, right? When we talk about the science of energy and waves and all that, we use the word resonance. When you talk about you coming to an understanding with somebody or feeling something, you say, yeah, that resonated with me, right? There's a reason why it's the same word. It's the reason why it's the same root, right? Resonate, resonance, reason. Hello, reason.
Last thing, everybody, eat this up.
Bro, if you come back to my door again, it's going to be up. Move away from my door. Move away from my door. Move away from my door. Yo, I'm about to throw the book at Chase. Chase think he big. Chase think he big. My man done woke up this morning and went to the supermarket with his own money. That was a moment for me this morning. I had to like absorb that moment. You know what I'm saying? Because time passed by so quick. You know what I'm saying? They just babies yesterday, and then all of a sudden, they go into the supermarket with their own money. I'm like, hold up. First of all, who told you to go to the supermarket, family? I remember telling you can go to the supermarket. And where you get money from to go to the supermarket? What is happening? Right? I had to just like wipe the coal out my eye. See who's this paging me and why. It's my pop from the barbershop. Told me. Anyway. We're going to rewind back to the information before we was interrupted. That's why insight or understanding feels musical. The mind locks into harmonic proportion with reality. Saying the brain is hardwired for math and music is an evolutionist way of avoiding the conclusion that intelligence precedes biology. Listen, this is what I'm telling you. If you think anything we're saying today in today's video is okay, you think we got a little info, a little cooking, we're doing a little. We're on page 47. And yeah, now we're approaching 3 hours. We in 3 hours, in 2.5 hours, we have only got from page 42 to 47. So I promise you, these books be overloaded with information that people just can't get anywhere else. And if you don't get the book, I can't even give it to you. I can't give it to you. I can't give it to you in any other format but the book. Think about it. We had 3 hours in and we only 5 pages. We only threw 4.5 pages in the book. It's too much information. It's too much information. Markel said they want some greens and macaroni and cheese. Hello, we're having soil from the backyard loaded with probiotics because geese and squirrels and rabbits, we got a lot of rabbits. They all in the backyard pooping a lot. So the soil is rich with probiotics. We're going to have some of that. Geese poop, squirrel poop, rabbit poop mixed in. You know what I'm saying? With the occasional field mouse and raccoon or whatever, they pooping a little, it's all kind of poop back there. That's going to be mixed into the soil. We'll have some of that, and we'll have some grass from the front yard, highly nutritious, and then we'll pray and have us a tall glass of tap water. We'll pray over the water, over the tap water. And as we pray over the tap water will be restructured. Yeah. Oh my God. Look. Markel said I'm incriminating myself. When in reality, Markel just incriminated himself. So now we know who the snitch is. We know who the spy and the snitch is. We know who been dropping dime now. Finally, we thought it was Tanai. Tanai wasn't. It's not Tanai. Tanai. We put Tanai on the lie detector test the other day. We know exactly who been dropping dime. Look at this. Incriminating. Busted. You going down now. Now that we have identified the perpetrator. Yeah, you going down. Yeah. Talk that talk, Paul. Talk heavy. We playing zero games with Markel. All right, so hold on. Let's go back. Right? Let's go back. This is an important point. The ratios that govern a musical scale are the same ones that govern orbital mechanics, wave interference, and atomic spacing. Learning is recognition of resonance. When incoming patterns match pre-existing field geometry, neurons fire together more easily. Myelin sheath thickens. The myelin sheath is the insulation on the neurons, right? And comprehension feels like truth. That's why insight or understanding feels musical. The mind locks into harmonic proportion with reality. Saying the brain is hardwired for math and music is an evolutionist way of avoiding the conclusion that intelligence precedes biology. What we call consciousness seems to have designed matter to receive it, building instruments, brains that can play back the mathematics of creation. Do you understand what I'm saying? The body is the instruments created by the consciousness.
Dr. Enki. I love you, Dr. Enki.
Get money, get rich.
Today is only
Get money, get rich.
Today is only
Health is wealth, herbs, British moss. Get money, get rich. Yeah. Oh. Inky giving sight to the blind, realignment. Healing the sick, it's time and divine assignment. I wrote more books than your doctor ever read it.
Send kids to college off the words that I said. Sacrifice parties, turn down sexual offers. 200 books made my children authors. Script my legacy in pages. Left the club stages. Wisdom caged in paper. Freedom's wages. Get money, get rich. Today is a holy day. Get money, get rich. Today is a holy day. Health is wealth, herbs, bitters, moss. Get money, get rich. Every seed I plant, a tree that bears fruit. Truth in my roots, proof in a pursuit. God gave me the pen, I turn ink into bread. Wrote scriptures on hustles, every page was fed. Prayers in the morning, prophets by the night. Never took shortcuts, the long road's my light. Bless the path while the greedy chase the fast. I stack health, not a wealth gonna last. Bitters cleanse my soul, moss keep me strong. Herbs in my tea keep me moving along. Sacrifice the flesh, multiply the spirit. The word is the bread, the faithful gon' hear it. Get money, get rich. Today is a holy day. Get money, get rich. Today is a holy day. Health is wealth, herbs, bitters, moss. Get money, get rich. Get home.
Turning light to vision. Options dance, it's a God-given mission. Biology whispers in quantum codes. DNA scrolls where the universe explodes. Vitamin D fights blood pressure schemes. Sunlight sermons and ultraviolet beams. God's voice echoes in the nucleus core. Life's blueprint written, can't ignore. Lifeless thing, let me tell you, Christ is King. Lord, always there. Flesh and spirit do a layer design. Infinity folded in the fabric of time. Blood runs rivers, his sacrifice flows. Through our veins his divinity grows. God's voice echoes in the nucleus core. Life's blueprint written, can't ignore. Happy is the heart. When I'm winning, when I eat good, sleep good, speak good, but sometimes I struggle and need help. Yo,
I'm sharp as a blade, but my edge need a strop. When life heavy as a boulder, I need balance to rock. Caught in the shuffle, my breath thin as a reed. Ancestors whisper, but the static competing. Dark nights when my mind's like a broken street light. Searching for my ad, trying to level my plight.
Happy is the heart. Happy is the heart. Happy when I'm winning. When I eat good, sleep good, speak good, but sometimes I struggle and need help.
Yo. Herbs in the mortar, pestle grind like a DJ. Mixing remedies to make my soul replay. My lady a lotus, blooming through mud. She balanced my seesaw when it dips in the flood. Good people, my roots, they hold me in storms. When the winds of my worries try to reform my norm. Need herbs, my lady, my circle of kin. Hold me down when the chaos begins. Yo, happy is the heart.
Happy is the heart. Happy when I'm winning. When I eat good, sleep good, speak good, but sometimes I struggle and need
or you're gonna pay $65.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up out of your sleep, wake up out of your sleep, wake up, I command you in the name of Jesus, wake up out of your sleep, wake up out of your sleep. The Lord told me to tell you, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, stop crying and wake up, stop worrying and wake up, stop fretting and wake up. God's getting ready to get ready to get ready.
Best part of waking up, blue magic in your cup, blend it up, American healer, fill it up, fill it up, fill it up. The best part of waking up, blue magic in your cup. Moss gel, same as hydration, unspoken, conjures, crispers from the ocean, stay golden, gold moss, purple moss, red moss, blue, clean lungs like the morning dew, thyroid tune, iodine in the veins, boosting brain waves, no need to explain, intelligence sharp, immune on the rise, antioxidants dancing, phosphorus fly. Bone health, steady metabolism light. Every sip, every blend keeps the system tight. The best part of waking up, blue magic in your cup, blend it up, American healer, fill it up, fill it up, fill it up. The best part of waking up, blue magic in your cup. Roots so deep, they whisper to the stars, oceans remedy bottled in jars. Natural balance, the healer's touch, gold in the bloodstream, never too much. I dine for the genius, mind so nimble, moss in the mix is more than a symbol. Every cell alive, rhythm in the blood, sing Mars gospel, revival in the flood. From the sea to the soul it aligns, healing in the tides, energy and lines. Red moss hums, purple sings a tune, blue magic rising under crescent moon. Best part of waking up, blue magic in your cup, blend it up, American healer, fill it up, fill it up. The best part of waking up, blue magic in your cup. Moscow, Simons, hydration, unspoken, conjures, crispers from the ocean, stay golden, gold moss, purple moss, red moss, blue, clean lungs like the morning dew, thyroid tune, iodine in the veins, boosting brain waves, no need to explain, intelligence sharp, immune on the rise, antioxidants dancing, phosphorus flies,
Bone health, steady metabolism light. Every sip, every blend keeps the system tight. The best part of waking up, blue magic in your cup. Blend it up, American healer, fill it up, fill it up. The best part of waking up, blue magic in your cup. Roots so deep, they whisper to the stars. Oceans, remedy bottled in jars. Natural balance, the healer's touch. Gold in the bloodstream, never too much. I had died for the genius, mind so nimble. Lost in the mix, it's more than a symbol. Every cell alive, rhythm in the blood. Seamless gospel, revival in the flood. From the sea to the soul, it aligns. Healing in the tides, energy in lines. Red moss hums, purple sends a tune. Blue magic rising under crescent moon. Best part of waking up, blue magic in your cup. Blend it up, American healer. Fill it up, fill it up, fill it up. The best part of waking up, blue magic in your cup. Moss gel, same as hydration.
I love you, Dr. Inky.
My yesterday or tomorrow, I blaze the trail and you follow from the home of the Apollo. I spit and you swallow. I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. You are quantum illiterate, thought you was infinite. Biochemistry, you don't consider it. Wrote 200 books on this, you scribbling. Pages of nonsense, fake riddling. God level spitter, no middleman. You dummy, just love me, stop fiddling. I'm called goofy, hater, stop blazing. Your jealousy blazing, but I'm out of time. From yesterday to tomorrow, I blaze the trail and you follow from the home of the Apollo. I spit and you swallow. I'm him, I'm him, I'm him. Know the metal nature, but you flunked biology. Talking hieroglyphs, no methodology. Your theories don't vibe, just apologies. I'm a pyramid scheme in real life, no chronology. The baseline hits make the moon crack. I'm a shadow in the night where the goons at. Strings weep like psalms in a tempo. Heavy 808 shake the mantle. Piano keys drop fundamental. Life symphony is monumental. From electric boogie to electric body. From electric boogie to electric body. From electric boogie to electric body. Light split, hobby double slit first. Cause godly created electricity and magnetism probably. It's understood I'm good in the hood as long as God got me. My yesterday or tomorrow, I blaze the trail and you follow from the home of the Apollo. I spit and you swallow, I'm him. Slava winning, Slava winning, Slava winning, Slava winning, Slava winning, winning, winning. Pull no Blavatsky, the haters might have shot me. Devil almost got me in, that's why I'm cocky.
The mind don't age, metal is a standing wave. The plug is a connected, you can't copy respect. I'm the GOAT, the GOAT. The mind don't age, metal is a standing wave. The plug is a connected, you can't copy respect. You are quantum illiterate, torture you see, Makabah, just shun and you follow. From the whole guy to Apollo, I spit and you swallow, I'm him, I'm him. I spit and you swallow, I'm him. I'm him, I'm him, I'm him, I'm him, I'm him, I'm him, I'm him. Yeah. My yesterday or tomorrow, I blaze the trail and you follow. From the home of the Apollo, I spit and you swallow, I'm here. The baseline hits make the moon crack, I'm here. My shadow in the night where the goons at, I'm here. Street like psalms in the temple, for the 808s trigger man was set, yeah. You were quantum illiterate, thought you was infinite biochemistry, you don't consider it. I wrote 2 books on this, you scribbling pages of nonsense, fake riddling, got level spitter, no middleman. You a dummy, just let me stop fiddling. All praise, can me get your head right. Melanin V is die, always survived it, ill a dot site. Perma Blavatsky, the haters might have shot me, devil almost got me, that's why I'm cocky. From electric boogie to electric body. From electric boogie to electric body. From electric boogie to electric body. Light split, hobby, double slip first, cause golly. Creating electricity and magnetism probably. It's understood I'm good in the hood as long as God got me. Protect Dinky, the guys demand it. Spread the books over the planet. The word is yours, goddammit. On God, goofy haters stop glazing. Your jealousy blazing, but I'm out of trail raising. My yesterday or tomorrow, I blaze the trail and you follow. From the home of the Apollo, I spit and you swallow, I'm him. I'm him, 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 yeah. My yesterday or tomorrow, I blaze the trail and you follow. From the home of the Apollo, I spit and you swallow, I'm him. Yesterday or tomorrow, I blaze the trail and you follow. From the home of the Apollo, I spit and you swallow, I'm him. You are quantum illiterate, thought you was infinite biochemistry, you don't consider it. I wrote 2 books on this, you scribbling pages of nonsense, fake riddling, got level spitter, no middleman. You a dummy, just let me stop fiddling. From electric boogie to electric body. From electric boogie to electric body. Light split, hobby, double slip first, cause godly. Create electricity and magnetism probably. It's understood I'm good in the hood as long as God got me.
I love Dr. Inky.
No Blavatsky, the haters might have shot me. Devil almost got me, that's why I'm cocky.
I love Dr. Inky.
For you, I teach the people for me. almost got me. That's why I'm cocky.
I love you, Dr. Inky. Don't not an option, Paul. No Blavatsky. The haters might have shot me. Devil almost got me. That's why I'm cocky. Closed, hands open, heart broken. I love you, Dr. Inky.
Inky turning pages, gave sight to the blind. Healing the sick, remedies that realign. Health is wealth, bitters, moss in the grind. Herbs from the earth, ancient roots intertwined. I wrote more books than your dog ever read. Sent kids to college off the words that I said. Wisdom flowing, no damn, let it spread. Sacrifice the parties that she's never met. Get money, get rich. Today is a holy game. Get money, get rich. Blessings in every way. Get money, get money, get rich. Today is a holy game. Sacrifice desires, didn't play with a flame. Wrote 200 books, made my children authors by name. Rejected quick thrills, stay true to the aim. Built a legacy strong, no one plays with a frame. Herbs in a pot, let it simmer and steep. Health in the body and the mind runs deep. Bitters cleanse the soul, no secrets to keep. While the world chases fast, I move slow. Get money, get money, get money. Today is a holy game. Get money, get rich. Blessings in every way. Get money, get rich. Today is a holy day.
All right. We kept everybody. We kept everybody. That's good. I appreciate that. Now I need to get y'all to go and get the books. Now I need to get y'all to go get the books. All right, where was we at? We was on page 47. The insight. Okay. What we call consciousness, page 47, second paragraph. What we call consciousness seems to have designed matter to receive it. Consciousness seems to have designed matter to receive it, building instruments, brains that can play back the mathematics of creation. In physics, those ratios arise from symmetry and constraint, right? Symmetry and constraint, right? Similar to what the MIT article we went through earlier, right? Talking about the molecular structure of melanin, right? And then of course we use Solomon's floor, right? Solomon's temple floor, the black and white, the chessboard, right? The mosaic tile, right? As a reference. And then we also have in that same book, just for reference, we have the origin of the mosaic tile. And sometimes when I tell people about masonry having its origins in Kemet, right? Can y'all see that good? I might not be able to see that good. Let me see if the Google demons should be able to pull us up. This is the shrine of the nobles, or the tomb of the nobles, right? So let's just because we're here, let's see what the Google demons, if the Google demons want to play fair or not. Okay, hold up. We cooking. No, this is not it. You see that? No, this is not it. Hold on. We cooking. The Google demon's trying to work with us. Let's see what we got. Oh, right here. Bam. Look at this. That's as best as you're going to get. Talking about that's blurry. Oh, you mean the book? Yeah. But that's where you get the mosaic tile from right there. So that I believe is the oldest depiction of mosaic tile. Yeah, that part. You know what I'm saying? That part. And Kyle's comment counts as a double, quadruple comment because Kyle is an architect, like in real life. So he understands what mosaic tile, like that's insane, thousands of years ago, right? Mosaic tile thousands of years ago in the ceiling in a cave or a tomb is insane. You see? Yeah, it's in the book. It's on page 314. Right? It's on page 314 in the book. Right? Because sometimes you need to see those things. Sometimes you need to see those things. Bruh. Listen. But the beauty for me, see, the thing is, everybody with their particular interest is going to see different things, right? We don't see with our eyes and hear with our ears. We see and hear with our mind. So depending on who you are, information unlocks things in a different way for you, right? For me, for me, it was about unlocking the mystery around why Kemetic priests, right, were also the Kemetic doctors, which were also like the Masons. That was confusing to me. That was confusing to me because obviously, at the time anyway, my westernized viewpoint, I couldn't see the throughway to the guys, you know, building buildings, being doctors, also being spiritual. Like, it just didn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it unlocks stuff like that to see how geometry is like, it's right. That's the divine principles of geometry, right? In an atom, there's only certain spacing that electrons can be in, right? Because of their energy, because of their relationship to the protons, because of their ability to absorb, vibrate, and re-radiate light, all of those things. So it dictates a very specific geometry. So understanding that those principles translate to music, you know, if you're trying to be a producer, engineer, rapper, whatever the case may be, or to health, if you're trying to be a naturopath or a surgeon or a medical doctor, you know, or architect, you know what I'm saying? Like, just knowing that those things translated into so many spaces, that's what was crazy. You know what I'm saying? For me. All right, so where was we at in the book? Okay, symmetry and constraint. A vibrating string, an electron's orbital, or a planet's revolution all settle into stable standing waves, because that's what minimizes energy and preserves coherence. The same mathematics, whole number ratios, resonance, harmonic series appear at every scale because the universe itself favors balance between tension and release. It's not that music copies physics, it's physics made audible. When you call those harmonies gifts from Kepler, you're naming the creative moment when formless potential began to oscillate, right? Now, what am I talking about? In the debate, right? In the debate and in the previous Black's Anatomies books, right, we reference quantum field theory. Let me see if I have that slide. Let me bring that slide up. Right? Okay. All right. So remember, this is my debate against Unk. Right? So remember the first round went way over everybody's head. Right? The first round, right? We start with Darwin and Diop. Okay, here we go. Right? So here in the first round, right, we're talking about the Kamenu. Right? We're talking about the Kamenu and the Kemetic mnemonic device for explaining the origin of the universe, right? From the Kamenu, right? This thick blackness, right? This thick blackness, right, is the representative of the Kamenu, right? So what does that mean? That means even the concepts of dark matter and dark energy are not from modern science. The concepts of dark matter and dark energy come from Kemet, which is the reason why the root of Kemenu is Kim. Right? The root of Kemenu is Kim, right? So you can simplify the entire cosmology from Kemet, right? And go, the black gods created a black land, and out of the black land made black people, right? That's not me, that's them. That's how they put their thing together. Kim, 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 right? Now, our concept of black, especially in America, has been racially charged, and you know, it's all over the place, right? But clearly, there's a space in science where we're talking about our inability to articulate light at a certain space or energy, you know, because we have a very, very narrow, like less than 1% of light and sound can we interpret. So most of, you know, everything that we cannot interpret is black. Everything we can interpret is black, right? So that's the Kemenu, right? The Kemenu have specific descriptions, right? So in terms of science, what they were doing matches what modern science does. Remember, we went over this, and this is how all of this I'm explaining to Unc, but really not to Unc, to the audience, because clearly the people don't know what none of this stuff means in terms of a scientific mechanism where you identify the parts of a thing and then you identify the interactions of those parts with each other to get an outcome or a phenomena. That's what they were doing with the Kemenu. They were identifying the parts, right? They were identifying the parts. Where's my little thingy here? Where is that at? Boom. No. There we go. They were identifying the parts, right? Binary forms of cosmic waves, infinity, darkness, and invisibility, right? They were identifying the parts and then the interactions of those parts, right? And so today, all we've done really is expanded on that. All we've done is really expand on that concept. It's not new. It's these concepts are old. In fact, you could argue we haven't really expanded on it. We've just taken the old concepts and reworded them, right? We've just taken the old concepts and reworded them. So you would have this plateau here, right? The plateau would represent the Kemenu, and then the emergence from that plateau or from the Kemenu would be the story of Kepra, right? And then Kepra, once he emerges, then he becomes Atum, and Atum then Re, right? So you have the first Trinity, Kepra, Atum, and Re, right? But you have that today in quantum field theory. It's not really different, right? It's really the same thing, right? Just reworded, which is why all throughout the debate also I am flashing the books so people can get the books. So you need to get these books. You cannot get the information just from watching these videos, right? So anyway, we continue to go into some more goodies, right? We go into some more goodies. Right. And again, the Ogdode is octave. Ogdode is the octave, right? Going back to the musical scale, the Ogdode is the octave. Can you describe the difference between the Nun and Kepra gods in relation to this? Nun is a part of the Kamenu, right? Nun is a part of the Kamenu. So there's 8, right? There's 8 collective gods, and then there's a hidden one, which makes 9, right? But the hidden one will remain hidden, right? So in the Enid, it's not hidden. In the Enid, it's just 9, right? But remember, let me just say this for the people that don't have the books, right? Because they might think we don't know what we're talking about, right? When I say Isis, when I say Osiris, right? When I say Horus, that's because the majority of the people, we live in a westernized, the majority of people, they know those names, right? I've even had debates with folks that tell me Osiris is not the real name. The real name is Asar. And then I'm debating with that person, like, so since you're trying to be a smarty pants, Asar is not actually the name either, right? So, but what I'm saying is, when you say Agdod and when you say the Enid, those are Greek names. So you'll get some folks that try to, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But in the books, we make the distinction, between the Enid and the Iunu. That's the Kemetic term, the Iunu. And then the Agdod and the Kamenu. The Kamenu being the Kemetic term. Right? The Kamenu focuses on the 8, leaves the 9th kind of out of it. The Enid, everybody's on deck, all hands on deck. And that is the more popular cosmology, the Enid or the Iunu, right? Which is where you have Atum, Shu, Tefnut, etc., etc. That is the most popular story that people know, right? But Nun is a part of the Kamenu, right? And then from the Kamenu comes Kepra, right? So Kepra's is kind of not first, right? So Kepra's kind of not first. Kepra's the first to emerge. Kepra's the first to emerge, right? So it gets crazy trying to track down the firsts and the who's the fathers and it gets crazy. Maury Povich could never figure out the parenthood and the lines, and it gets crazy. The thing to remember is that Nun, though, is the most important. Nun is the most important. Nun is the most important, and the reason why Nun is the most important, because Nun represents the waves, and Nun is the Nun is the middle point between the stories. Nun to help you put the stories together. Right? Until you catch Nun, you don't really, nothing else makes sense. And the funny thing is that Nun is the midpoint in the Kemetic stories. It's also the midpoint in our day, right? Nun is the midpoint, right? So Nun, right? Remember, Kepri comes from the Kamenu, Nun, and then Atum comes from Kepra, right? Atum comes from Kepra, right? And then Atum creates 8, right? Nun, in the story of the Enid, there is no other 8. They don't really, the Kamenu is not a part of that story. It's just Nun. So it's Nun, and then even with Ptah's story, right? Ptah, the mound emerges from Nun. And so you got to know that Nun has a sister, and Nun got brothers, and like Nun got a family. Like you got to know that from studying, just studying the different texts or the stories or whatever the case may be, and put it together yourself. But, certain places focused on this. You know what I'm saying? So you get the Memphis story it's just Ptah is the center of the story. And some of it, circles around if you try to anthropomorphize it, you know what I'm saying? or try to make sense out of the anthropomorphization. Some of it circles around. You got to realize that they're talking about is cosmology. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's definitely crazy layers to it. Right? All right. Hey, listen. Hold up. We gotta go to an old classic now. We gotta go to a classic. Hold up, no. We gotta go to a classic now. Just because I can't find the songs like that. Okay, hold on. I forgot the songs are invisible now, so you can't search for a song. If you try to search for a song in the YouTube, you can't find the song. You have to go to the playlist. You got to know where the songs are now. So you got to go to the playlist and find the song that way. Bam. You got to go over to partner music. We got to go to partner music because we can't even have a live stream like a proper joint. And we don't play certain material, like certain joints. You know what I'm saying? We got to touch certain songs. We got to at least touch them.
Late night shadows, thoughts creeping in. Mirror talk, reflections where I've been. The way to words, history in my skin. Break the chain, let a new life begin. CT Fletcher, in the gym of my mind. I command you to grow, leave the past behind. Stack greens, build dreams, stay aligned. Pages turning, money off books I design. Stop saying nigga, start saying nigga. We get better. CT Fletcher, still yourself. CT Fletcher, I command you to grow. CT Fletcher, Kale in the blender, wisdom on the plate. Fuel the temple, elevate the state. Write the scripts, pen sharper than fate. From the struggle to the stars, recalibrate. Power in the tongue, so watch what you speak. Roots in the soil, but I'm reaching the peak. Legacy in motion, everywhere you need. From the block to the ballroom, technique. Stop saying nigga, start saying that we get better. CT Fletcher, still yourself. CT Fletcher, I command you to grow. CT Fletcher.
Stop saying nigga. Start saying nature. I command you to grow. Okay. All right. Listen, that joint, that's a classic. That's a classic one from Dr. Kepra and the Beatles, right? Dr. Kepra and the Beatles. That's why Dr. Kepra and the Beatles be in the studio making all this music for us, because that's where Kepra lives at. Kepra lives in the waves. Kepra is from the waves. Who else will be making the music? That's a classic one from Dr. Kepra and the Beatles. All right, matter of fact, hold on. Before we get back to the information, we gotta hold up. If we talk about classics, we gotta do this. We gotta do this. diabetes. You already know what it is. We here. Time to make magic, baby.
Rolling through the sand like a thought in disguise. The scarab spins truth where the cosmos collide. Energy with
Melody first diabetes.
We here. Time to make magic, baby.
rolling through the sand like a thought in disguise. The scarab spins truth where the cosmos collide. Energy whispers, it never says goodbye. The Beatles crawl, the Beatles rise. A wave becomes a particle, a sphere holds the flame. Disorder bursts the chaos, yet the chaos rise. My name Beatles, 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 over and over. Spinning the world in the grip of their shoulders. Beatles, 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 under and over. Rolling through time till the blackness is sober. The heat fades lower, the order begins. The stillness so perfect, it hums from within. The void sings softly, entropy takes a bow. In the shadow of silence, the scarab knows how. The second law is dancing, feeding life through decay. The third law holds the promise that the stillness will stay.
Wait, you get it, right? See, Beatles and Beatles over and over. That's why the song is made to play over and over. Because every time I play this song, somebody goes, wait a minute. I just figured out what you was talking about.
Melody first diabetes. You already know what it is. We here. Time to make magic, baby.
Over and over.
Rolling through the sand like a thought in disguise. The scarab spins truth where the cosmos collide.
Energy whispers, it never says goodbye. Okay, hold up. I'm looking for another book. Now, this is a book some people have, some people don't have. Okay, here we go. Oh, this book is not on Amazon. This book is not on Amazon. Yeah. Yeah. This book came out in 2019. This is one of them joints. If you ain't get this, you ain't got it. If you ain't get it, you ain't got it. But look what we was on. Look what we was on in this book. You see that? Y'all get what y'all looking at right here? Right? That's the symbol. That's the symbol for Ray. right? That's the symbol for Re, with the circle with the point in the middle. That's one of the symbols for Re. Right? One of the symbols for Re is the circle with the point in the middle. Right? And you see how our local groups of stars revolve around Re. Right? But that's not why I pulled this book out. I was showing that was a blueprint for what we have going on. You see that with the record player? Right? How the record player, the science of the record player is recording electromagnetic waves and sonic waves, right? So a record, right? A record is a wave. And recording technology allowed us to begin recording waves, electromagnetic and mechanical waves, right? And then play it back, right? And then that same technology evolved, right, from the record spinning, right, to what we have now, right, with hard drives. That's how a hard drive works. A hard drive works like a record. It's a little magnetic thing. He's spinning just like a record player, right? Yeah. So it's crazy how we was having these same conversations, or at least I was attempting to, anyway. 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Yeah, and then who got this book? Who got this book? Like, yo, hold up. Nobody got that. That's kinda. Kinda. It made its way into the current books. Kinda. There's still some stuff that's making its way. It's still en route. There's still some stuff that I'm that's still coming from the older books that we haven't gotten to the newer books just yet, or not whole, But that what I'm talking about is definitely in the GOAT book, I believe, for sure. Yeah, I think that's definitely in the GOAT book for sure. Yeah, I think some of that's definitely in the GOAT book. Yo, that's what I've been doing. You know what I'm saying? Thinking of a master plan. Ain't nothing but sweat inside my hand, so I dig into my pocket, all my money is spent. Still coming up with Lent, so I start my mission, leave my residence. Thinking, how can I get some deaf presidents? Some dead presidents. I need money. I used to be a stick-up kid, so now I think of all the devious things I did. I used to run nothing funny. Stop smiling. They still don't nothing move but the money. But now I learn to earn because I'm righteous. It feels great. So maybe I might just write me a ton of books. All right, so back to the book, right? When you call those gifts harmonies, gifts from Kepler, you're naming the creative moment when formless potential begins to oscillate. In Kemetic science, Kepler wasn't a sculptor who imposed form from outside, but the becoming itself, self-organizing motion that lifts patterns out of chaos. Self-organizing motion that lifts pattern out of chaos. Modern language will call that spontaneous symmetry breaking from the quantum field, the first differentiation of amplitude and phase. So when you see that kinetic field theory diagram, and you see that first spike, right, as amplitude and phase, language you would also apply to a wave, to music, to sound, right, to understanding waves and nodes and all of those good things, right? That same language applied from music is the same language that you would apply in quantum mechanics to understand what's happening, because it's still wave phenomena, and waves have basic ways that they move, right? Wavy. Modern language will call that spontaneous symmetry breaking from the quantum field, the first differentiation of amplitude and phase. Whether you speak of Kepler or quantum emergence, you're describing the same phenomena. Energy discovering proportion. So the ratios governing music, orbits, and atoms may be the fingerprints of that first act of coherence. If one prefers scientific language, they're the natural solutions of wave equations in bounded fields. Either way, they show that reality is not random noise, but a structured vibration capable of recognizing itself. If you strip away the names, God is whatever causes chaos to arrange itself into pattern. Music is that same process made audible. Vibration discovering form, silence learning to dance. From a physical view, everything that exists oscillates. Electrons and atoms, hearts and chests, planets in orbit. From a spiritual view, that continuous oscillation is the word or logos. Creation through resonance. The ancients heard this as the music of the spheres, and modern physics writes it as harmonic ratios and wave equations. Two languages, one message. God is music.
This is why you have to go to Amazon and get the book, Rich Abs, Poor Abs, now.